Is there lore for how Leblanc and her goons actually have this place? Like the Guado Salam people still, the Guados live there. Why'd they just let these people have the place? It's so weird.
I think the Guado have disbanded from Guado Salam because like the Ronzo are trying to kill them and they feel like insane guilt from, all of Seymour's bullshit.
Now they're just being sad in the woods.
They're in Macalania Woods and they're like, well, the woods are going to fade away and we'll probably fade away with them. I guess that's more the musicians.
All the musicians are going to die?
Yeah.
The music will die with the Guado.
That's the emo band of Final Fantasy X too.
Yeah.
They're being sad in the woods.
I think they were just like, hey, here's an empty house. Let's fucking squatters right.
Let's just keep the beautiful portraits on the walls.
Easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So let's just fucking move our shit in.
I think there might be a line, if I could be making this up, but from having played it before, I feel like there's a line somewhere where they talk about how like once that house became vacant, the LeBlanc Syndicate just moved in after Seymour and the Guado left. But I don't remember. I haven't seen it yet, so I could be making that up.
Yeah, I feel like I remember something about that. Who's to say?
Who's to say? But
we are gooned up.
We're gooned up once again. It never dies. This is the Every FNFF podcast. I'm Curtis.
I'm Carl.
I'm Alex. And with us, returning champion, B.
Yeah, B. Yeah. Somebody came into my TikTok chat recently and they're like, oh man, you're my favorite Every FNFF guest.
Aw.
I need to go heckle them to put you on again. And I was like, well, it might happen. I was playing FF8 and they were like, if they do FF8, they need to bring you on for the whole season.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
the secret.
I'd do it.
I'll never have to play it.
No, Alex, you have to. It's so good.
Yeah, this is the only one that you have to play, Alex. We don't give a shit if you play any of the other ones. Just play 8. That's the message of the podcast.
There's so much to talk about, too. So
I was in a Twitch chat recently and being a very Final Fantasy 8 defender of someone who they weren't like talking poorly about it, but my idea of when people are not speaking so hot on 8 is like, oh, you probably played it when it first came out or like gave it a once through when we're like, I'm not really into it and have never thought about it again because they're just like, Squall doesn't have any character development. I'm like, the entire ending is literally about the character development. Anyway, that's for another season.
Yeah.
But
yeah, actually, I saw today on Twitter somebody recreated FF16 in the style of Final Fantasy VIII. So there's like map pictures. I just posted it.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah,
that sounds
awesome.
Amazing.
It looks really good.
I'm a sucker for these PS1 makes things.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
But thank you for coming back, Bia. I mean, I think you were back last season to talk about FF2 and grilling, I think, if I recall.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of grilling. I think Sid. We talked about Sid.
Yeah.
It's because we analyzed each Sid and if we thought they would grill or not, or be good at it.
It's their dad archetypes.
Which remains the canonical list, by the way. No updates.
Reminds me of some exciting life news is that I think this is the year I finally fully embrace the grill and get one. I think with the weather starting to get nicer now, I think it's, I'm going to be going to Home Depot soon and just grabbing a grill.
Carl's become very Sid-coded.
Yeah, I'm trying to embrace the Sid.
Okay, no spoilers, but I haven't got there yet. How good is Sid in the Final Fantasy Rebirth? Is he awesome?
I have some questions about him.
Really?
But that man grills.
Oh, yes. That man grills? Okay. All right.
And well.
That's the important part.
And it's a good grill. I would go there. I would eat it. It would be delicious.
True to the character.
Rocketown barbecue.
Yeah, they really like maintained the characteristic of the original FF7 in that he would grill. Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, he would. Yeah, maybe a little less swear words. But he swears. He still says things. But yeah, no, that man still grills.
I like to imagine that the developers of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were like, okay, We need to dial back Sid cursing, so we're just gonna have every other fucking NPC and character just constantly cursing. Like, there's so much cursing in that game, and it makes me so happy.
It'd be funny if it was like the Julia Powers or whatever, where she's the only guy who can like censor his own words, like in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Because like in everything in the original one was text based, so you can just have like wingdings and asterisks.
Oh,
and shit
yeah.
like that. You don't actually have to like. Yeah, I mean that's why we came up with the zoinks. For Barrett.
Oh right, I forgot about Zoinks.
Oh.
Jeez, throwback.
I don't know. I just think if that man grilled, I would eat it, and honestly, that's all I'm really looking for when it comes to a Sid.
True.
That's fair. That
Seems like the kind of grilling that you're like, oh god, there's so many people at that barbecue that I don't like, but I don't know the next time I'm gonna get a chance to eat Sid's grill work.
I hang out with him too. Like, I feel like he'd be real fun to hang out with.
Yeah, definitely one to crack a beer with.
Yeah.
Hang out on the Shara.
But would you crack a beer with the Leblanc Syndicate? That's the real question.
Ooh, I'd have a glass of wine with Leblanc.
You know what?
What
Fair
kind
enough.
of wine do you think LeBlanc drinks?
Red.
Nice.
Sauvignon Leblanc.
Oh, yeah. No, I could see her being a sangria girly too.
Oh,
Yeah. I also could see her being like, I don't drink red wine. I only drink champagne. That is the only thing I will drink is champagne. And like, you could also be like, well, that's not actually champagne, because she'd be like, no. Like, I'm just drinking champagne. Like, she doesn't have to have the fancy stuff. She just wants to drink only champagne.
So for people who maybe have missed you in previous seasons, what's your history with Final Fantasy?
I've played a lot of Final Fantasy games, pretty much all of them. I love them.
Almost professionally now, right?
Yeah. I've been called the encyclopedia, but I mean, it's more so along the lines of this is my hyperfixation. I've played it since I was a kid. I've made a lot of life connections through it. And I don't know, I'm just really passionate about it. And I think about things like what Sid would grill and
The important things, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, I don't know, and that's how I've
When you
always
run
been.
out of lore, you make your own.
Yeah,
of
there's
course.
some really long-standing lore about Reno, because when Reno from Final Fantasy VII, I had a crush on him when I was a kid and I played it. And for some reason, I can't explain it, but he lived in my living room closet. He was
I mean,
there.
that makes sense.
And now somebody said, because I was talking about how sometimes the Hat Man visits me, someone was like, bro, that's just Reno with a fedora. I was like, oh man, because he's not scary. He just feels like he's just there.
It's just
He's
there,
watching.
non-threatening. It's like Lisa Simpson reading the magazine that says non-threatening boys, and it's just like Reno on the cover of it.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is, but that's what I am. I just like Final Fantasy a lot, to the point that for some reason Reno lived in my closet as a kid. Still does.
Reno needs to come out of the closet.
Yeah, I think he likes Rude.
Oh my god!
Who doesn't? How could you not?
After
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I love Rude. What a king!
They're so good. The Turks are so good.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Okay, you know
Yeah,
what?
like they're like my favorite part of Advent Children too.
If we
Yeah.
if we don't get into the LeBlanc Chateau right now, I'm going to spend
true.
the next 30 minutes talking about how cool Rude is in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
So we'll get to that in 15 years when we finally get to the Final
That's
Fantasy VII remake universe.
But just like you specifically requested this episode, and
I did.
you have been known to speedrun this game as well.
I did. Yeah. Way back. I only PB'd once though.
So maybe you can give us some pointers on how to effectively pleasure LeBlanc.
I feel like this is probably like an RNG situation. I would imagine.
No, there
It's like
is actually a
Minesweeper.
strat. There is a strat
Ooh.
to it. It has something to do with the colors though. I'd have to
Cool.
look it up.
Carl, the kind of MF who just click around in Minesweeper, not even
I
looking
am,
at
yeah.
the
There's no
numbers.
strategy in that game. It's all luck. So the hardest game of all time.
But yeah, last we left off with Steven last week. We had just obtained the last of our gooning fits and are now
Gooning fits.
Yeah, we now have the mission into the chateau at the hotspot, which is change into those uniforms and charge, or rather sneak your way into Chateau Leblanc. Let's take back that sphere.
Yeah, speaking of sneaking, we'll get into how good the Gullwings are at sneaking in a minute.
Oh my god. Yeah, we just approached the chateau, and that kind of starts like a little like introductory cutscene to kind of ask us if we want to proceed.
Right, and then the gang changes into their
And Yuna's like 10 feet from the door, like, oh, I hope this works.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like right in front of the door. Yeah,
They I do like the pun for the mission prompt here where it says faking and entering. Nobody steals from the Gullwing, sneak into Chateau Leblanc and take back what's rightfully yours, recover the stolen sphere.
So I think one of my favorite interactions here is once you say yes that you're ready to go ahead and sneak into the chateau, the gang changes into their outfits, and when you run up to the door, Yuna like talks to one of the guards outside and is like, all right, we're reporting for duty. And he's just like,
yeah, it's Riku and Yuna at the same time.
yeah.
And the guy's just like, thanks?
Yeah, he goes, thanks. I love it. So good.
They enter the foyer, I guess, which, it has not changed a bit, and LeBlanc doesn't really have any sort of, I guess, decorative flair except for her own personal chambers.
She just thought that like Seymour's decorations were like perfect, impeccable.
She loves looking at these Guado airs.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're still on the staircase. Like I thought they would like maybe scribble them out, so they're all just varying pictures of her.
It's weird because that's what I was gonna say. She feels like the kind of person that would just have like a bunch of different pictures of herself, glamour shots.
Yeah.
Unless she like just acquired this place, like,
Maybe.
Or she
is someone who just keeps the stock photos in the picture frames you buy.
Yeah.
She might also be the kind of individual to have pictures of one singular other character
Oh,
who is here in the chateau with LeBlanc to our surprise.
Yes.
Right. Or not even a picture, but an actual freaking bronze statue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see Nuge and LeBlanc are walking around the chateau, and
I guess they come from like the banquet hall, kind of where we got that cool PowerPoint presentation about why
That's
Seymour
right.
should be married to Yuna. if I recall.
Yeah, where he went Bugenhagen mode. Bugenhagen?
Every game needs one.
That's right.
Thank you, LeBlanc.
Anything for you, love.
Now I finally know the location of Vegnagun. Spira is in for a rough ride. Take care.
Yes, love.
and as he's walking away, she again calls him love. So she does a whole waving animation as well as he's leaving.
Yeah, and she goes into like a what would you call it, like waxing poetic or like a pining monologue for news where she's like, how long must we be apart? These days without you are not easy, my love. Like
She's
as he
down
walks up the
bad for
door.
Nuge.
She's really down bad. And at first I was like, oh, is she just like playing him for something? That would be awesome. And then I was like, no, she's like, I mean, he's a total dunk, so it's understandable that she's into him, but
But have you guys talked about his design? Because like,
Yeah, we kind of went into it a little bit when we first introduced him in back in Kilika.
because he's one of just like the most wild Nomura designs to me.
yeah.
This is when they started getting really. I mean, I guess Titus was kind of breaking the ice of like, oh, we can afford to make characters asymmetrical now.
Yes, yeah, very much
And like,
so.
just how asymmetrical can we get? Like, he has a prosthetic leg. I think we found that it looks like he's wearing like a big onesie,
Yeah.
like
Big like
bodysuit,
velour onesie that like zips all the way down.
He's an ex-crusader, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, also like it's funny because like the way I kind of read this at first is like I was like, ooh, is Nuge like one of the bad guys? Has he been playing us the entire time? Right?
Yeah.
Because like, oh my gosh, he knows where Vegnagun is, and then
He told us, don't worry about Vegnagun.
yeah, don't worry
Forget
about
what you saw."
Vegnagun. You stay out of this. Don't worry about it. And then like the line after he says that he knows where it is, he's like, Spear is in for a rough ride. Like, ooh, is he going to use Vegnagun? Like,
Yeah, what are his plans? Yeah.
what's his plans? What's the whole deal here? So
But
Yeah,
we
very-
get a long shot of LeBlanc walking up the stairs into her chambers, and then we have control of our party again, and we can kind of go explore.
that's right.
Yeah, if you try to go into a room now, you'll get a goon that says, the boss is exhausted. You mustn't disturb her. So we have to go into the banquet hall first, I think.
Yeah,
right.
where there's still a whole table filled with like fruit and stuff. I can't remember if it's the exact thing.
Completely stopped.
Is it all just Seymour's wax fruit?
Yeah.
Maybe? Like,
Yeah.
It just
it's been
proves
2 years.
it's not real. They never
Yeah.
ate any of that. It was just fake.
I feel like we finally. I feel like we probably asked that on the episode where we were here originally. So we finally, years and years later, got our answer.
That's right.
But there's not really much to do here. Actually, now that I'm playing in HD, I can see how many of these fruits are just 2-dimensional standees, like in an old Mario game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, kind of how foliage is generated in a lot of games. But Ormy, I keep saying Ormy and Smo.
Ormy and Smo.
Yeah, Ormy and Logos are here hanging out by the back. And I love that Ormy. So Ormy starts talking, and I love that his accent kind of just shifts almost every scene. Where he's like, "The boss is a different person when that news guy shows up, huh?"
Yeah, so like, small aside, I was a little disappointed that like he does have a little bit of this accent like right now, but when he does the line "the nerve," he doesn't say "the noive," and I was like, it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, Logos is saying how she's like suppressing her natural charm and acting like some housewife. She must be tense. And I think that also lended to me being like, oh, she's putting on an act and she's getting one over on him. Like she's like the mastermind of all of this. But I don't think that's actually what's going on. But they notice us and they don't notice that it's, YRP. And they just say, you go to the boss's chambers and tend to your duties. And Yuna asks, what duties? And he said, use your talents to help her unwind.
Am I remembering correctly that Logos also says chamber or something like that?
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
got a
the way-
lot of flair
Chamber.
with his voice, yeah.
You go to the boss's chambre and tend to your duties.
They're really hamming it up in like the best way.
I know.
Oh my god.
I can't I know that like it's it doesn't make sense when you're interacting with like pieces of fiction to worry about this, but I can't help but always be like, do I think this person is cool or not? Right? Like, would I hang out with this person? And Logos is always towing the line where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about him.
I feel like it's one of those things where you would develop a friendship with him and then like he would be around other groups of your friends. He would show up to one of your parties or something. You'd be like, oh my God, this could go very poorly.
Yeah,
he could like
yeah.
embarrass himself or something, but everyone would kind of like come to the same agreement where he's like, yeah, he's a little, he talks kind of funny sometimes, but he seems like a really chill guy. He seems pretty cool.
I feel like he would say something incredibly insensitive and I'd be like, Logos, no.
He's trying out new things, like the whole leading a gull wing to water or whatever.
Yeah,
That's right.
And he gets flustered and just like, shoots you instead. But yeah, I guess we don't really have much to do except go to the chamber.
The
Yeah.
chamber.
Yeah, it really forces you in there. Like, just do it. Go do it.
So this whole time I was wondering if like halfway through this interaction, like the actual masseuse was going to show up.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, all right, we're ready for you, Leblanc. And like,
Maybe we lucked out and actually
kind of like the Blues Brothers, where like the actual like good old boys or whatever show up like an hour late or whatever.
I had wondered if every single, as they call them, femme goon is like a professional masseuse. Because like, first of all, how do they even know who they're talking to?
Yeah.
They just assumed, oh, you know how, go do it. Like that's
we just got like incredibly lucky of beating up the one masseuse in all of the syndicate and taking her clothes and then also showing up exactly on time for her shift, even though we've been like farting around doing shit in like the calm lands or trying to get that guy a girlfriend or whatever.
I'm assuming the femgoons just did not report that they got mugged by the YRP, right? That they just, because otherwise it'd probably be like a high alert, like, hey, there's someone who stole her clothes.
I guess we
should
killed them.
Yeah.
Well, except for that one that was running away with the camera locked on her butt.
Oh, that's true. That's
True. I think most of them we didn't kill, I think.
Yeah, I think they're fine. They're just naked somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're on Mount Gagazet, we may as well have killed them.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they got the hot springs there. It's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah, they'll
that's
just
fair.
wait, getting all pruny.
That's right. But yeah,
And by naked, we mean they're just wearing like Besaid clothes instead.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah. But yeah, so when we go into LeBlanc's chamber, she is in front of a giant like bronze or gold statue of Nuge, which is incredible. Like,
Where did she get? Did she commission this?
I
Was
know,
this like
I was
a
thinking
gift?
about this.
What if the Guados had it there already.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Or it was a Seymour statue and they just like replaced like the head with Nuge's head. I know the body is completely different, but
Nuge is the kind of MF who would like gift somebody a statue of himself. I know you're going to like this as much as I do, which is a lot.
Yeah, like is it a gift from the Youth League or something?
Mm.
yeah. But after we see that bronze statue, LeBlanc just says, I'm waiting. And then we are immediately thrown into this mini game called Duty Calls. And the prompt
oh my God,
is...
the music shifts.
The prompt is, give LeBlanc the massage of a lifetime. Watch her reaction and adjust your technique accordingly for peak pleasure. And the objective is to satisfy LeBlanc.
The music is the same that kicked in when the hot spring scene started, which I think is actually Riku's theme. It's just like very kind of like upbeat and cheerful. But it's so funny.
It's extremely funny.
It is a very silly mini game.
Yeah, but we're given it says Jack LeBlanc's satisfaction meter up to 32 up to 32
in 15 rounds. Yeah, so
I just never noticed it said the word Jack.
Yep.
As like the verbiage. God. But it is so it's a 3x3 grid. This isn't like it's not like they're 15 puzzle, but it is more like a very small version of Minesweeper, where we arrange from blue, which is nothing, to red, like red, green, yellow, and blue. We're trying to find the red spots, which are the spots, the good spots.
Yeah, I think there is a legend, right, that shows you what. So like the red ones are worth 5, the yellow ones are worth 2, the green ones are worth 1, and the blue are worth 0.
Yeah. So basically, like the way it works is just to go over like what it is exactly. It's a 3x3 grid that essentially what you're doing is selecting a position on that grid to uncover a symbol that you can't see, right? So basically, like the grid is full of these like red hearts, green hearts, yellow hearts, and blue hearts. You don't know which heart is in which position until you select that position. You're looking for the red ones. Once you select the red one, it wipes the board and begins again with all of them in random positions. But because there's only one red one on each round, depending on which heart you uncover, it gives you a clue as to the position of the red one. So if you pick a green one, that means it is cardinally adjacent to you. So it's either above, below, left, or to the right of your current pick. I believe a yellow one is diagonal, and it might also mean 2 away. I'm not sure, but
I think you got that reversed. Where
is it?
The green ones will be diagonal?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The yellow ones are closer, so they'll be like right up, like against the direction. So
got you. And then blue means you're far away from it, which, like in some instances, can be a good clue. Like if you know that like something is like either in this corner or that corner, and you get a blue, you know it's far away enough that it's not like adjacent to you. So
it could be 2 squares away, regardless.
Right. So
there's how many can we do in one round?
I mean, you feasibly could pick every position but the red one, and it could take you 9 tries to finish a round. But the amount of rounds in the game is it's not indeterminate, but it's indeterminate how many rounds it will take you to get to 35 points.
I see.
Or 32 points, I'm sorry.
And if you find the yellow heart like right away, you're in pretty good hands as to figuring out where it is. I will say this was a speedrun killer though.
Really?
Which is so funny to me is that this goofy, embarrassing as a child playing this. I was like 13, 14 playing this, and my dad was like, "What are you doing in there?" I'm playing a Final Fantasy game. Okay.
Yeah, because every time you find a spot, she has a varying like little bark that she does.
Bark, yes.
The satisfaction meter noise.
If you hit a blue one, you hear like a little cracking noise, like, "Oh, not there." That's not it. It's like, "Ooh," and then like, "Oh, yes."
Dude, when you hit the red one and she just screams, "There!"
Or, "Oh, you're good."
Did you fail it and hear what she says when you fail it?
I did fail it. I did fail it because
Oh, good. You got to do it twice.
I didn't know about any of like the strats.
With your fiance listening on.
Yeah. So I was sitting and doing my homework, and my fiance was across the room, and I just heard what was going on, and I maxed the volume out on my Switch and just kept doing it and she just looked over. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I showed her. I was like, "Just a mini game here," and she was like, "That is fucking insane. That is so funny." But yeah, once you fail, there's like a little cutscene where she says, "Watch where you grab, you klutz. Do it again." And then when you start, she says, "That's good. That is good." Or wait, I guess that might be after I
cutscene when you win.
Yeah, that's the next.
What's
cutscene.
Confusing about that for me is if somebody is not massaging me well, I don't want them to do it again.
Yeah, and this time do it right.
Bone cracking like sounds and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I looked at the legend. I thought I was losing points if I like cracked. Like I thought it'd be a penalty.
Yeah, I thought so too.
We brought in the chiropractic goon, not the masseuse goon.
I was gonna say, oh man, I accidentally went to the chiropractor instead of going to the masseuse, and then I was like, all right, you didn't do what I wanted you to do. Do it again.
Is there something else that she says when you lose, or?
No, that's it. When you just do it again, yeah.
When you win, she does say, so the options are, let's see, that hurts, oh, you're good, oh, there, not there, stop that, that's nice, that's not it. Ooh, ow, you got the wrong spot. Ooh, where are you groping? And I think that's all of them.
That just makes me want to make like a bot for Twitch where people can like use channel points or whatever, or put in like bits or whatever to activate one of those and just get a random roll of
Carl. That's such a good idea. And if
oh my god, if you can have a command so when we redeem, you actually put in like
I'm gonna write this down on a sticky note right now as like my next project.
Leblanc bot.
Oh god. No, that's a good idea.
Redeem.
Yeah, this is a really good idea.
Twitch massages Leblanc.
B will be the first one to
Curse is desperately looking
this.
for a piece of paper.
That's a good BRB screen activity.
Oh,
yeah, go
good.
to B's channel for the premiere of that eventually.
I've always wanted to like try to code up something like that, so I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's the kind of shit where I'm like, God damn, I wish I didn't stop coding when I was like in my early 20s, because this is the dumb kind of shit that I would be doing with it.
God, LeBlanc bot. It's so funny. God, so smart.
But so when you win, things kind of, progress where she's starting to get a little daisy, right? Where she's, that is good when you get so good at this. And because I guess she's the one. I don't know where the other two are. It'd be very funny if all three were involved.
They're just standing there T-posing.
It's a turn-based fight, but with her back.
When did you get so good at this?
I don't know.
Nuji Wooji is such a manly man, don't you think?
To which, yes, we're all thinking it. She's saying what everyone's thinking.
He can be blunt, but that makes the occasional smile all the more irresistible.
That godly smile. That's the whole reason I became a sphere hunter, which is interesting. If only there was some miracle sphere, something that could make him truly happy, what I wouldn't give.
And then she starts snoring.
Yep, and Yuna's like, oh, she fell asleep. And Yuna looks at her hand.
Yuna's surprised, too. Yeah, she's
like, oh my god, I've got the touch.
I could do that?
She's like, I'm that good. I feel like it's probably like a white mage sort of thing, right? Yeah.
True.
Yo, she really did make her calm, though, damn. She put her to sleep.
She's just using like white magic, like just using healing powers to like fully do it. I feel like the other goons probably aren't that skilled as she is.
She brought the eternal calm, and she brought like a 30-minute calm,
You like unlocked for me why I'm obsessed with this scene's existence, and it really is that she brought the calm on LeBlanc.
She gets up and she starts dancing, and they all just die. When she dances, people die.
Oh my gosh.
It's interesting, though, because we do get a little more. Logos comes in and says, the boss fell asleep again. One massage and she's out like a light. So I guess it's not a Yuna-specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were all just
Yuna
gassing
just is
her
taking it a little too personal, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, small aside, but I'm looking at the scene where Yuna's talking to Logos and Ormi right here, and you get like a pretty good shot of what the Fem Goon outfit looks like. And I like that it has like a piece of like back armor or something that's like attached to the shoulder via ropes, and it's like pretty striking. I actually like that quite a bit.
It's like a little weighted like plate that kind of hangs on the back.
Yeah,
right?
it's a good.
Is that to help you have better posture? I feel like I would need one of those.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it does look like it is only just holding onto the arms, not really doing anything in the front.
Yeah, I wonder if that's based off of any type of armor, but
yeah, it could be for weight training.
Yeah,
Ninjas
true.
maybe do.
Goku style.
Wow, I just found a really good Fem Goon cosplay.
Nice.
I want to see this.
I feel like any outfit in this game would be so much fun to cosplay.
Yes, I agree. So this game came out when I was 13, 14, and I was probably end of 8th grade, beginning of 9th grade. And what they all look like defined everything for me. So like, I had long straight hair. I'd straighten my hair. I'd look like Len. I wore that like specific lip gloss shade. I was like all about the aesthetic of this game. It's just like the core of who I am.
It's so good.
That's so cool.
And that's like what so many people crap on this game's existence. But I always say you have to go into it like it's a bad movie. But like a bad movie that's so bad that it's good. Because also
it's campiness.
Oh yeah, it's 100% campiness. Like the high pillow and like it leaned into so many things that like I adore. And then the other thing is, and this is the advice I always give people. I'm like, do not play it immediately after you play 10. You have to let 10 cook.
Yeah.
You need to miss Spira. You need to miss the characters. Because like, this was the first sequel they ever did for this series, technically. And on top of that, like, if you play it immediately afterwards, you get that emotional whiplash. And I have not gotten to listen to everything. I wait until you guys are pretty much done, and then I listen to them all the way through. But for me, that's something that has always bothered me, is that people always go, because they'll start it up and they'll be like, that's nothing like Yuna at the beginning of the game. And it's like, well, yeah, because it's not. And you find that out immediately. It's literally not her. It's Leblanc. And Leblanc is extra. And like, that is very much her personality. And I feel like so many people miss that and they can't get past that. And so they can't enjoy the game as a result.
It's kind of interesting as well, coming off the heels of 10, where the thing that people always say about 10 is like, oh man, the voice acting, that laugh, and it's like the laugh was intentionally supposed to be like bad and like corny, like that's the point of it. And it's like the same sort of thing where people will just be like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense that Yuna is like a pop singer or whatever and all of that. And it's like, no, I mean, if you like know the context of it, it completely paints things much differently. But yeah, I'm definitely the same way, where when I kind of saw the direction that this game was going in, I was like, yeah, I don't need another like really tragic story like in Final Fantasy X.
You don't need to up the ante from the end of the world.
Yeah, no. I just want to see Yuna doing weird like odd jobs and stuff. Like I want to just see the fun side quest stuff. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm happy about it.
I want her to have fun.
Yeah,
that's it.
Not to bring it up once again, but because it's like the thing that's going on in the cultural mind right now, I have to bring it up one more time. But multiple times this season, I've been like, all right, 16 was our super serious one. I love a super serious game, but now they need to make another Final Fantasy X-2 that's just super stupid, like that's just ridiculous. And I will say Rebirth has been scratching that itch pretty well.
It does, yeah.
I can't count the number of times where something amazing happened in Rebirth, and my honest reaction was just, that is so fucking stupid. I love that so much. I love that they did that.
I have literally thought while playing it, that is so 10-2 of them. Like,
it's interesting for me because I just played Yakuza Infinite Wealth, which is the 8th in the series. And because I played them back to back, I kept instead having, this is so like Yakuza coded. You can tell that the devs have been playing that series and they understand that there's a really good balance of like serious moments mixed with corny moments. And that to me is like the core of Final Fantasy, because people always have that argument. What is a Final Fantasy? When I think back there are moments that are going to tear me apart and make me cry, but there are going to be moments that make me laugh my ass off, or they just feel surreal. Like it doesn't feel like it's a real thing at all. And that's right. It's a fantasy. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
And and I think this game, I want one too. I want one too, because even I never fully beat 15. I watched my husband beat it because it made me motion sick. But even that, I didn't feel like had that humor. It feels like it's been a really long time, though 13 had its moments.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
15 has a little bit of silliness, kind of.
Yeah.
The relationships between the characters, that's about it. From what I've picked up.
Yeah.
So does 14 when I think about it. 14 has a lot of that too.
Yeah,
And
14 is very silly.
16 had some of it. Like I can think of the balls moment. If you know, you know about the balls.
Might
and
not
Torgal.
be there yet. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Torgal balls.
Yeah, just Torgal balls.
But yeah, I love 16. I haven't beaten it yet, but from what I've played of it, I love it. So
I do remember distinctly like there being a moment in culture where Game of Thrones was like taking over the world, and just seeing people that I would never expect to be interested in like fantasy stuff like being all about Game of Thrones because it was like the biggest show in the world. And I remember being like, this is really cool, but I'm worried about what comes after Game of Thrones, because is everyone going to be like, no, we have to have everything be super serious and the stakes always dialed to 11 and always have like main characters are never safe and stuff. I'm like, there's definitely a place for that. I think it was good in Game of Thrones while Game of Thrones was good, but like I don't need everything to become Game of Thrones, you know? I like that things have been kind of going backwards a little bit as well, and just being like embracing the goofiness.
Yeah, Carl and I were talking yesterday about True Blood, which I have never seen.
God,
but it sounds like that sounds like a nice era of HBO where like things were just kind of just absurd.
Talk about whiplash. If you go back and watch True Blood now, which at the time on HBO was like, oh, that's a really good show. It's like shows you what you can do on HBO. It's really cool. And then like thinking of HBO just as like the Game of Thrones network, and just being like, oh my God, this show is fucking absurd and really dumb, but extremely fun. So if you guys haven't watched True Blood, I highly recommend it, because it is like B was saying, it's like a bad movie, but like you love watching it.
Yeah. Plus, I think bad is like, I don't know, subjective in a lot of ways too.
Bad art has value.
Yeah.
Which I'm telling all the AI bros too. Like you're allowed to make bad art. It's fine.
Yeah.
And nothing needs to be perfect, and that's why this game is. It
Perfect.
just yes, yeah.
And then I just dropped in a screenshot from Romeo plus Juliet because I just realized.
I love that movie so much. Jamie
Yes!
Kennedy's
Oh my
finest
God.
work.
For real though.
It's like FF10 too. Yeah, it's just Romeo plus Juliet, but you know.
Yeah.
No, literally, I'm pretty sure that there is a meme of this where it just says like 10-2 with like the logo placed over that image.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
This just needs to be posted to hard images, that like meme account, because this pic
images
goes hard.
that go hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was doing my best to think of a pun that would segue us back into the scene, but I couldn't come up with anything. So instead, I'm going to hard cut to Ormy and Logos standing in Leblanc's chamber.
Yeah, in the corner, there's a CRT TV and a VCR that's playing Romeo plus Juliet.
There we go.
That is LeBlanc's favorite movie to watch while getting a massage.
The DVD menu is on loop, so you're just getting the beginning of that Radiohead song over and over
Yeah,
again.
like a 30-second. Yeah, the God, that's a good song. Anyway, Ormy and Logos. Yeah, they mentioned that they've been waiting for her as well, and they have to talk to her about something important. But since she's sleeping, they'll just have to keep waiting. And they say, in the meantime, you go make sure the switch panel is working. And Yuna's like, switch? And Ormy says, the back of the living room, the same one as always.
It for a second, I was like, what the hell do like goons have to do with their time? They just go make sure the door still opens. Like, what a lame thing to have to do.
You got time to lean. You got time to get the switch.
Well, then I thought about it, and I was like, oh, that's literally a thing I have to do for my job every night. So yeah, I guess it makes sense.
You're really a goon.
I am. I'm a real goon.
That's really what they had. They trucked Gordon Freeman to do for the whole Black Mesa thing. Like, hey, can you turn on the switch for us? Thanks.
Yes, it's true.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah, I did have to, when I was working for an IT service company, I did have to, on a Saturday one time, leave a Flyers game and drive to a customer's office to go into their server closet just to turn a server on because they had like a power outage. And I was the only one with a key to open it. And someone was there working on site. I was like, God fucking damn it.
They interrupted you from giving a massage.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Flyers lost that game, though, so I guess I'm okay with it.
It's also annoying because Ormy and Logos were just there. They were like right next to the Switch.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're middle,
Yeah.
they're middle
Power trip
managers,
thing.
you know?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
power trip thing.
Let's go fuck with the Switch and like, see if they notice that we changed anything.
So yeah, we go back into the banquet hall. There is a Switch like directly behind like a vase on a pedestal.
Yeah, I was just kind of just interacting and trying to figure out where it was. I think it's between the vase.
There's like
that
a secret
left door.
panel that like when you interact with it, it like slides out, I think.
Yeah, and then you press a button that's inside of it, and like, is it a tapestry that goes up?
It looks like a weird kind of shield or display. I
Yeah,
guess.
there's like a
Yeah,
display
it
in the back of the banquet hall.
I guess it is a tapestry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it like
rises up.
rolls up into the ceiling, I guess, revealing nothing behind it. Right, like importantly,
It's a
it's
wall.
just a bare wall. And Riku's like, "Yo, is that it? That whole button is for nothing. Like, what the heck?"
Yeah. Riku starts like punching it and kicking it. I think it's Riku.
Yeah, Riku
we're all
does.
still in the Shigun outfits. And I think she like busts open like a secret passageway and starts like rolling down a staircase that's
It
behind
Yeah.
it.
spins like a one of those bookcase things.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
a revolving bookcase. But yeah, it like revolves just as she's getting like ready to throw her like body weight into it. So she ends up like going through the gap and then like falling down the stairs.
Doesn't Pain get really into character too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Riku says, whose idea was that? And then Pain goes, take it up with the boss.
I guess this just further reinforces that dresses have personality.
No,
Yeah.
From like the very first episode. Like, I just couldn't. I put it on and I just couldn't stop gooning. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Pain says, I've had this thing on too long. Let's change. And then
Yeah,
we're
which-
back to
so-
our party.
Imagine if goon was a job though.
I would take a goon job at
What
this
would
point.
their special abilities be?
Gooning,
Opening
Go-
doors.
Gooning.
massaging. Yeah, maybe there's more charm based magic and.
Yeah, I guess it would kind of be like prey, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of what massage would do. I guess it would like raise physical like attack or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it
like
could be a
cheer
support role.
almost.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Maybe it would be like all of them, like raises like all your defenses, like magic defense, raises your strength and defense, and
You have, like,
also
multiple
gives you like a
types of
small
cheer.
amount of
oh,
HP.
but they put the mini game right there in the middle of the battle. Like you cast it, you had to do the
It's
mini
like
game.
it's like Lulu's like limit break or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to overcharge. Chance to inflict sleep.
Yeah, that would be it. It would definitely be sleep.
But yeah, so the gang changes into their normal outfits, and like as it was happening, I was like, this is the worst time to do that. You are furthest into the chateau. This is the point at which you need to be sneaking.
The exit is so far away.
Yeah, I was like, this is the worst time to change out of the outfits.
I feel like their mindset is like, well, we can kick the shit out of anyone in here. Who's going to
This is
stop
true.
us? Like,
Yeah.
let's just we've infiltrated. We're in the
Surely
deepest
there's no
part.
more secrets to unlock
Yeah.
after this.
Surely we don't need to be sneaky anymore.
But yeah, I like that, like, they don't get but like a step or two down the stairs, and immediately brother radios in, and like I guess like the radio is like turned up super loud.
Yeah, I always thought the radio was like in a headset or something, not just like a
Yeah,
walkie-talkie.
apparently not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is brother. How's everything going there? It's like, oh my god, shut up, dude. We're undercover.
Yeah, Riku says, "Be quiet. This is a covert operation. Over and out." And he like screams. He's like,
Yeah, and he's like,
Riku! How dare
how
you
dare you
speak to your
speak-
leader like that? Yeah.
so good. And then, shockingly, Ormy and Logos heard that, and they
I think just Ormy this time, right?
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do
Let's
kind of
go
a little bit of
later.
a wave. So first we're gonna just only interact with Ormy, and I guess some femgoons.
That's right.
It's a really great set of screenshots as well, where Ormy says, the gull wings, and his face is extremely like low poly in the
Yeah.
HD, so it's just like his mouth is open and like it's very, very fun. I'm trying to show you guys.
And then holding a gun saying,
yeah, just
Yeah,
with the
he
gun
gets
in the
to a
next
fight.
scene, like strapped, like getting ready.
Yeah, then we're kind of in like a mini boss fight with I guess Ormy. Looks like there's a femgoon and probably a doctor goon.
Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't think this was too bad. Once again, I'm kind of rolling with my
Firaga.
Yeah, Firaga or whatever. However,
I did steal an elixir from Ormy. That was pretty cool.
Speaking of Firaga and us doing 100%, B, you didn't speedrun 100%, right? You're just doing any percent?
No, yeah, just...
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Speaking of Firaga, though, this battle was my last battle that I kept Black Mage on for because I learned everything with the exception of Waterga, and I was like, okay, I want this for the bosses for the end of Chapter 2, but I'm not going to be getting AP if I learn everything. So I guess I'll just change out of Black Mage until the next section. So I have gone back to using Gunner again from this point onward.
For you now?
How's it working out for you? I haven't
Gunner
played around
and
with
Thief,
Gunner
I
too
should
much.
say. And I'll bring up what is fun
Nice.
about Thief in just a moment. But yeah. It's pretty good though. Gunner is I think it's surprisingly strong. Not as strong as Warrior, but pretty good.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
I keep forgetting to try using the turbo for the
For Trigger
R2.
Happy.
Oh, right, for Trigger
you know
Happy
what?
and just see.
Or I guess R1.
The thing about
yeah.
Trigger Happy, I have opinions about Trigger Happy, and it might change when I get
It's fun.
the level 2 and level 3, but I was counting damage to see if Trigger Happy really does more or not, and it does do more, especially once you're doing more than 2 or 3 HP per shot. But once you're done with Trigger Happy, Yuna's ATB bar is the full size of the bar.
Yeah.
After you're done with it. So she has a recovery time that's super long after Trigger Happy.
Gotta reload all those bullets.
I guess
True,
so.
yeah.
But it kind of makes me wonder would I have done more damage just attacking twice than in the same amount of time?
Right.
Than using
I
Trigger
think
Happy?
to me it always read as a an assist kind of skill of just being oh, you get the chain up super high and then have someone else deal the final hit. That is what it always read to me.
Or a stun.
You're
type
probably
of thing.
right.
Yeah. Or I feel like the utility of it is very interesting, and I want to play around with it more. But I've been focusing on other jobs so far.
That's a really good idea, though, to use Trigger Happy and try to time it so that you have a slower move, like a Firaga or Darkness that we'll get later. And then hit Trigger Happy so that your person casting Firaga or Darkness hits when they have a 20 chain or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That
And just
might be
do,
a good idea. I'm gonna try that out. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, that's that. As soon as I saw Trigger Happy and the combos, I was like, that sounds super fun to my play style.
Yeah.
Now you're thinking FF13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Have you guys seen the gun controller? Yeah, I've been trying to get it for forever.
They're called Tiny B or something like that?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think-
Tiny V.
Yeah, I've always wanted it. It's way too expensive though.
The Tiny B controller. Oh yeah, their let's see.
I wanna
here's
play
eBay
other
listing
games.
for $320.
I'm gonna speedrun Dark Souls on the Final Fantasy 2 guys.
I'll play Dirge with that. I'm
That would
just
be so
curious
sick. Yeah.
if it works.
Yeah, it is expensive, but it's within the realm of possibility. You know what I mean? It's not thousands of dollars or anything.
I wonder if anyone's made a 3D model of this, because I would just
Ooh.
make one.
My friend found one in Japan for $35. So the
Oh,
secret
my
is
God.
to do that. And she told me about it after she had already left. And I was like, I will Venmo you money right now. She's like, oh, that was 3 days ago. Why didn't you tell me when you were
Oh,
there?
no.
I would have bought it and paid for the shipping. Oh, someday.
That
yeah,
hurts.
free shipping, 280. Yeah, they all kind of float around $300. Looks like.
Yeah.
Oh well, there's a Time Crisis controller. Looks like exactly the same, but it's black instead.
I want the box.
The one with the box. Actually, the box looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen one
It's
with the
basically
box.
the Dirge of Cerberus one. Unused. Look, I guess that means new in box, right?
Yep.
We'll get it someday. This is why we gotta start a Patreon.
You should.
Yeah, we need to get B these controllers.
Yeah, our
do
first
you
Patreon
guys-
goal is get B this controller.
Oh, that's very thoughtful of you guys.
What are we gonna do with them?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it to play Dark Souls. Come on, that's a gross misuse of that.
Well, we could start a library of these kinds of items.
Check out.
Yeah.
I like this. Someone's just selling the guns from. Can I show this? It looks like it's just the guns from the action figure. So it's just these floating hands.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. Yeah.
1899?
Amazing.
How many
The
people have
detached
their,
hands.
her hands fall off like that? It's super-
Honestly, it's not that
I
surprising.
wonder how big they are. If you could put them on other, so you can just like give Tifa guns if you have like a matching action figure.
Somewhere there's just a
With
Play
guns.
Arts unifigure that just doesn't have her hands, and they're like trying to sell it. Oh God. Anyway,
Ketchy with these little little pistols.
There's this like doll from I think the 80s that my fiance really likes. I forget what it's called, but they're really rare to get like a complete one of because they have this little like tier. It's like not like crystal, it's like made of plastic, but there's like a little tier that you put near its eye that everyone always lost. So now anytime you find one with the tier, it's like at least $300 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
We saw it at a toy convention and my fiance was like, I will buy that right now. And she went up to the vendor and was just like, how much for that? And he's like, oh, I already sold that one. Sorry. And she's like, damn it.
wow.
Yeah. So
close.
Una hands might actually be pretty rare, I guess. The gun hands.
So yeah. Anyway. So we're in the. We're finally in like
We assumingly we kill Ormy, or at least he runs
Right.
away like they do.
and we're allowed to like walk into like the basement kind of area of the chateau, which was not part of it in Final Fantasy X. This is like the first time we're
No.
seeing it.
That's what I'm realizing about this game is like all the new areas are pretty boring compared to the old areas.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
hallways.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. It's a land of contrast, right?
But there's like a whole complex puzzle in it that makes
Right.
me
True.
wonder, what were the Guado doing?
Yeah.
Well, like there's specifically the little puzzle coming up. It makes me like, what is happening? But
There
Yeah.
is a little room here that is very decked out in like Leblanc Syndicate stuff. It looks like
Oh
there.
yeah, there's like some LeBlanc portraits on the
Yeah.
wall and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yep.
that. One of
Logos's
Ormy's,
room, is that the one we're talking about?
I think so.
I guess that's what it is because it has the shield and weights, like he did like weightlifting gear and stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
it does. Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
some.
Is this the one where you find the heady perfume?
It is. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
treasure chest here with the heady perfume.
I didn't even notice the weights until just now.
Yeah, we sneak into
Some unique assets.
It's either Ormy or Logos.
Yeah,
room.
if you look at the heady perfume, it says LeBlanc's secret weapon, dated but still good for a high.
Or I guess it could be
I'm assuming
LeBlanc's room.
I'm assuming this is Ormy's room because of the shield on the
Yeah, it
wall.
could
That's my only guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess we'll have to see
It's-
what the second room is. Oh yeah, the second room has the guns. So then
oh, okay,
Oh, cool.
all right, that
on the wall.
But yeah, that gives you HP MP stroll, which as you walk around, you regain MP and HP.
But yeah, there's as we're looking around the room, there's a sphere on the nightstand, right?
This is in the next room.
Oh, is that
that
the
we
next
find.
room? Well, shut my mouth.
The first room we just find the heady perfume, but we do not find the missing the sphere until we get to the second room, which is
Gotcha. That's
Logos.
why I thought it was Logos' room, because the second room is his. Okay, gotcha.
You keep going, but you can't progress because there's just like it's basically a climbable area with a dead end, which we'll figure out what that's for in a second.
Yeah.
But this second room, yes, this is why I realized like, oh, this is a Logos' room because there's two pistols kind of hanging on the wall
Gotcha.
above the bed. Also a portrait of LeBlanc on the bedside table, some literature. It looks like a big bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, there was a bottle of like champagne, I'm gonna assume, in Ormy's room as well, just on the couch.
I'm guessing Logos is like supposed to be kind of like the kind of cowboy inspired because of just it's like bottle of rum or
Yeah.
whiskey on the
He has
on the nightstand.
very oh god, I gotta look it up. So everybody's gonna call me out for being a fool.
He does. It's weird to me because they both don't seem like people who would drink to me.
Yeah,
they
I agree.
They seem kind of normie a little bit. I mean, they're not normie at all, but they're like too
Normie.
straight laced. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I fully agree. Yeah, they, especially Logos. He seems like he would be like, I never touched the stuff.
Yeah.
There is a big TV screen that has LeBlanc, Ormy, and Logos as like a background.
Oh yeah, that little screensaver.
Yeah, like a desktop wallpaper for Windows XP or something.
It's really goofy. Yeah, I didn't really realize until we were talking that these were Ormy and Logos' room. Like that makes total sense.
He's
now.
like the bad guy from Yojimbo, where he's like, or like
You
one
mean
of the
that
bad guys. I mean, the Aeon is named after the good guy.
Yeah.
in it. But there's a character in Yojimbo who is like a cowboy samurai gunman who kind of has some like
Nice.
Logos-esque kind of vibes.
I
to
feel
it.
like it would
makes sense.
probably make sense that that's a reference then of some kind.
Could be.
Like an inspiration, maybe. I mean, Yojimbo was obviously an inspiration for Final Fantasy X to some capacity.
Yeah, and he has like the robes and stuff, kind of like Logos has. But
Nice.
anyway, though,
Ormy has a sphere on his bedside table.
Logos has a
Right.
sphere.
Logos has an orb. Orb.
Yeah, wait, which room are we in? Rosencrantz or Guildenstein's? I'm trying to remember.
This is Smo's room.
Don't look at that. It's my private sphere.
Yo, speaking of which, he's got a fucked up sphere to just be sitting on his nightstand, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Oh yeah, so this is a Crimson Squad sphere. Because the first thing we noticed is not the one they stole, which I guess was the Xanarkand, the one that was like half of a sphere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. This is like, it feels like an extended cut of the one we found in the in Mushroom Rock Road near that door.
Yeah,
Right.
we get the same dialogue about the total survivors. The final Crimson Squad selection exercise, 0 zilch and zip all, job done. So just kind of tallying up the survivors here. And then you hear, you Pinhead, did you even count? Look, there are bodies missing. There should be 3 more candidates and their recorder. And he's like, oh, your point? 3 + 1 = how many? And then they say, 4 still live, fix it. There's
Right.
also a shot of someone holding a gun,
Yeah, so there's
like one of the corpses. It's not like a recognizable gun, it doesn't look like.
like this implication, or not even implication, I guess proof now, that like whatever happened with these people called the Crimson Squad, they were all like massacred, and that Ormy and Logos have something to do with it. And that after that specific massacre, there are 4 people from that group who still are alive, right? That's kind of like the information we have on it now.
Yeah.
And there's also just a character who isn't Ormy or Logos here too that says, "Did you say something?"
Yeah,
Yes.
one of them says figures, and then someone says, did you say something? No, sir. Pay him no mind. So
Right.
there's someone else involved here.
Indeed.
Sphere ends.
Yeah, but that's Crimson Sphere number 10. Hopefully we can find Crimson Sphere 10 too, and then we'll get more of the story.
But as we're watching it, we are not interrupted, but as soon as we're done watching it,
They let us finish.
yeah, they let us finish, but Logos...
Payne says that this sphere is a dud, and then they come barging in, and Logos says, only naughty girls would scrounge through other people's bedrooms, and Riku says, what about you? You're the ones who broke into our ship. And Logos is just like, oh, the boss's orders are permission enough, and then we
I
get
like that
into
line.
another boss fight. Yeah.
Yep, another boss
That's
fight.
with both of them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Ormy ran off to go get Logos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tattle.
But they're not too bad. It's kind of like a repeat of the last fight, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then as we beat them and they run away, like the screen flashes red and we get a message that says booby traps armed. It's like,
Yep.
oh no, now there are traps. And then one of the most like physically confusing spaces of Final Fantasy X-2 is next, right? In that there is a hallway and there are multiple panels on the wall that say security override.
Well, I didn't even know those panels were there because I just climbed up and jumped over. Like, oh, I have to jump over these gaps to get to
There's
this
little
door over
gaps
here.
that you need to fall into to...
But in the gaps, there are these like little disarming things. Because when we first approached the back wall,
Yes.
a bunch of spikes kind of just protrude out and start coming towards us, kind of Indiana Jones style. And so I'm like, oh, I got to run backwards to get out of the way. And then when I finally get to the wall where it was, there is a 1 disarm button. And I guess there's supposed to be like 4.
Well, so the disarm button doesn't work. Like that button doesn't work. It
That
says
is
like,
the
oh,
final
you
button,
need to
I think.
hit the other 3 and then it can open the door. But there's only 2 that are obvious, right? So when you ran away from the spike room or the spike wall, how did you get away from the spike wall?
I jumped down to where the switch was, and this confused me for so long.
Yeah, right? Because that makes sense.
Because, like, you jump down and then you find the switch and stuff. I think basically what ends up happening, is you have to get a fail condition of the spike wall, and then you end up in another area that you can only access by failing this. Like, if you're too good at the game, then you do not get to...
That didn't make any sense to me. I thought like, oh, I just have to... I saw the little like nook on the wall. And I was like, oh, do I have to like jump on top of it and then just ride it over? And like, but no, you just have to touch it.
Yeah, it's... So... Yeah, I figured that like, oh, there's a spike wall coming at me and there's little like holes that I can jump into and that will let the wall go over me, which yes, that is correct. It like you don't get crushed by the spike wall, and you get to find those security overrides, right? And then, if you're looking around, you're like, well, there's a little nook up top. Maybe I can get up there somehow by jumping, or maybe I can like ride the spike wall once it's past me or something. But like, no, none of that works. What you have to do is you have to lose. You have to like get not crushed because they like jump into a hole or something, but basically get like...
I triggered it by climbing up behind it and touching it by mistake, I think, instead of waiting for it to fall and walk on top.
It's very convoluted, honestly. I know how to do it.
It feels very unfinished.
It's like, I know how to do it, but I can't tell you.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's all muscle memory at this point.
Just like a magician.
It does feel like they had like an idea, like, oh, this will be like a little platforming thing, but they just like, it's not working. We need to ship this. Let's just
and so what happens? Once you lose and you get like crushed by the wall, it just puts you up in that nook where the other security override is, and that's how you get there.
I was very confused. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. I activated the other dude, so that's fine. Like, okay.
I was like, what is happening? Why is it this way?
I was extra confused because you have to walk away to like make the spikes respawn if you miss it the first time.
Yeah, but once we hit the other one, we're able to let's see, security door manual override, and we can open the door.
Right.
I think that's on the wall that would turn into spikes. I believe has a manual override.
Yeah, so now we can actually use that now that the other switches have been enabled.
Right.
And that opens a door to the left. And that leads us to the Philip Finder room of sorts.
Yeah, it does have one in the middle. The gang like splits up, looks for the sphere. Eventually, they find it, and we find
notably, Riku and Pain both point into opposite directions of the room, and they say, "Found it." They both find it at the same time, pointing in different directions. So they found the two halves.
Because the sphere that was stolen from us was the broken sphere, and it turns out the reason they stole it is they had the other half of the sphere already.
Yeah, and Pain says, I was wondering why they'd bother stealing half a broken sphere. Of course, they already had the other half, said Riku. And then Leblanc shows up and she says, "Very good, loves. I went through a lot of trouble gathering these pieces, all for Nuji Wooji. So don't you lay a finger on it. Let's get 'em, boys." And she like points into the camera.
Yeah.
She never says Nuge. She just says Nuji
Always says
Wooji.
Nuji Wooji.
Always.
Gotta appreciate it.
Maybe that's his full name.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a pet name. That's his actual name, and she just has such high respect for him. There's also a treasure chest that we can see, but we don't have access to get it yet, which always makes me so...
Once you walk into this room, chapter 2 is over. Like, you will not be going anywhere else. Like, once you walk in here, actually, that's probably once you go into the chateau, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, but yeah.
Maybe even like when you put on the goon outfits, when the like Yuna says like, "Are we ready?" and says like, "Go on," or "Hold on a second." That's probably where. But yeah, we get to fight all of them.
The whole syndicate. First time, I guess, since our first mission.
Yeah, since we fought them at Gagazet.
I did get the scans of everyone. LeBlanc says, livid at the thought that a sphere she found for Nuge has been tampered with. She can hit multiple targets as well as perform combination attacks with Logos and Ormi. And I think it's the same thing that we kind of went over last episode with all the Logos and Ormi fights.
Okay.
But it does say that Logos is a little nervous about screwing up in front of LeBlanc, which is cute.
I like that.
And then I think for Ormi, double thoroughly whooped by the gull wings. This time he's brought LeBlanc along for extra backup.
That's awesome. Double thoroughly. Once again, battle not too hard. I think I just attacked the entire time, like without even healing. So
yeah, there's some like cool attacks and stuff. Like LeBlanc has an attack called No Love Lost, where she makes like a giant tornado, like pick your entire party up and like whip you all around.
Yeah, then I know Ormi has that one that he always does where he winds up and then throws his shield and it like knocks you out of an action. And so like if you're like waiting for a long time for something to load and then he hits you with that, it just completely resets it.
They did like assist like super moves in this fight for me.
Okay.
That was really cool. Like there was a point where, like you said, LeBlanc gusts up the entire team in a tornado, and while Logos is like taking shots at us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Logos is shooting. Yeah, she does like different combination attacks, which you may or may not see depending on how long the battle goes on.
This battle is actually why I don't I stopped speedrunning it. I got stuck
nice.
on this fight so many times.
Yeah, I would imagine that in the speedrun, you're probably pretty under-leveled, and it probably involves a lot more strategy. Can you, like, speak on what specifically was, like, such a run killer with it?
No love lost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that move.
Yes, that one specifically. And it's all just, like, timing and stuff. But getting... there's, like, a certain order you have to kill them off in, and... I'm pretty sure Leblanc is first. Keep in mind, it's been like 7 years since I've done this.
I think I definitely like concentrate on her because like she's giving everyone the love taps and doing that like those combo moves of like getting their love lost.
Yeah, that's it.
She's buffing everyone else up, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of her.
Yeah, I just have bad memories of that specific thing.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, I made it past the massage. Yeah, let's go. And then it's like this fight.
It's all downhill.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
back to back. I would imagine in the next chapter as well, it's probably also pretty rough.
Yes.
I was looking it up to try and see more information about it, and the first Google result that came back was a song by Daniel Leblanc called "No Love Lost," and I'm interested to see if
What?
that's like something
When did that
that
come out?
that's what I'm trying to see. I'm not really finding much information about it. It says on Spotify 2019, but that could just be that is when it was uploaded.
Daniel Blanc, musician, member of the Grand Derangement.
What if Daniel LeBlanc really is a big Final Fantasy X-2 fan?
That's also what I was thinking.
You could do worse than naming yourself after LeBlanc.
It's true. Could name yourself after a Gundam or something.
Hey, I was against it at first.
No, I'm just kidding. I fucking love talking.
But yeah. Once we're are we done with the fight?
Yeah, I'm.
So once we're done with the battle, LeBlanc's like kind of like begging for mercy. She's like, wait. Well, I'll let you see what's on the sphere. And like Pain is like, let us. Like the sphere is in our possession. Like we are.
Pain initially starts like threatening her. She says, "No one's gonna hear you scream from down here." And then she's like, "No. Like you guys can just watch the sphere. It's fine. I'll let you."
Which right then in between watching the sphere and that battle, we get our rewards and everything. So I like that the reassembled sphere is actually like one of the items that we get from the battle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the twist headband, which I think I made a point to point out in Final Fantasy 2, because I think that was the first instance of the twist headband, if I remember right.
And we also get a charm bangle.
We also get a healing light to Garmin Grid.
That's right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But we watched the rest of the sphere, and it basically shows soldiers guarding Vegnagun from multiple angles.
I think specifically Yevon soldiers, if I recall. They look like the Yevon type.
They look similar, at least, right?
Yeah.
Or are they exactly Yevon soldiers?
So similar, some would say it's exact.
I mean, it's also supposed to be an old sphere, so it could be just older uniforms.
That's a good point. It's at least it's enough that the gang recognizes it as Bevelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Vegnagun's a big scary
You see
boy.
soldiers going, but they are charging. Yeah, they are guarding the giant fucking fal'Cie.
Vegnagun is such a metal design.
It's so sick.
Really
it's so
kick-ass,
good.
Yeah, it does just look like something straight out of a Doom or a metal cover. But the gross teeth that like Titan from 13 had.
Yeah.
What is it with just like too many teeth that just and giants?
I do like that, like, after we view the sphere, though, the entire dynamic between the Gullwings and the LeBlanc Syndicate changes, like, in this scene right here. Because LeBlanc, like, after they watch the sphere, LeBlanc explains, like, yeah, we analyzed it. Vegnagun's in Bevelle. That's why Nuge wanted it, is because he's looking for Vegnagun. But we don't know, like, what they're doing with it or anything, right? And so, the Gullwings, like, the gang is kind of like, well, we should, like, disassemble it. We should destroy it so nobody can use it. And Riku says we should shakety shake our way up to it and take it apart. Which, like, yeah, she could just use mug or steel on it, and we know that it completely destroys Machina.
Yeah, that's just as Machina, baby. Yeah. She knows how to break that.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work in 10-2, in my experience, because we're coming up to having to fight some Machina, and I was like, I know just how to do this, and I used Riku to use steel on it, and it was just like, oh man.
Yeah.
No, you see, these are machines. These are not Machina.
That's true. They're machines now. That's right.
But I do like that LeBlanc says, like, yeah, that's what Nuge has in mind to do, and whatever he has in mind to do, I'm gonna do. Like, that's what side I'm on. So it turns out we're all on the same side here. So we should join forces together, right? And so, and so like the LeBlanc said, they're like, well, we'll be waiting for you whenever you're ready. And Yuna's like, well, waiting where? Or no, wait, does Payne say waiting where? Someone in the Payne goes, well, waiting where for us? And she's like, yeah, where do you think? On your ship. I've always wanted to fly around on that thing. And they just like, without asking, like leave to go get on our ship.
They just peace out. Yeah, I'm sure, I don't know how they get on, but like it's just
It's wild to me. They could have just had a conversation this whole time and realized that like all of the, at least most of the game so far that they've spent fighting each other was kind of wasted.
Yeah. The whole time they've actually kind of been on the same side here.
That's like every conflict in like the thousands, right? Like all these rom-coms and stuff. Like just freaking talk about it.
It was really big in the early 2000s to pit powerful women against one another. So it makes sense that they would do that in this game. I was so excited when this happened. I was like, I was not expecting these three weirdos to be a part of our team, like extended team, and I am so excited. It's like it's like in Pokemon the movie 2000 where Team Rocket has to team up with Ash to like save the world. And I'm like, yes, dude, let's fucking go.
I was just about to say the same exact thing.
Yeah, I love them so much, and I love when you get validated for like liking a villain.
Yeah, right.
Yuna has a little bit of narration, I think the first time in a while.
Yes.
She's talking to herself. Sin is gone. The calm is here. I thought our peaceful days would never end. The eternal calm. I really believed they would last forever until now. I realize how fragile it can be.
Yeah.
And then we're on the airship.
That's right. We have like a cutscene showing LeBlanc and Army and Logo standing on the top. On the deck.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, I don't think I went up to talk to them. I don't even know if you can. I think it just kicks you into the next mission.
Oh yeah, I should go up there, but yeah, I think they're just hanging out by the big hood ornament that's like their size,
right? And I like the next scene; it shows them on the bridge, and I like that. Like the first piece of dialogue is from LeBlanc, and she's like, "All right, first things first, we're going to Bevelle, full speed ahead." Like brother jumps in and says, "Hey, wait a second, Blondie."
You just wait, the Blondie.
Yeah. No.
You know what next. Yeah, so because Yuna is, I guess, in charge, or at least Brother's trying to make it seem that way to get on her good side.
Right.
What's your take on this Brother in this game, B?
Brother is, he just is. He was a good blitzball player. He was a really good blitzball player before. Yes. I feel like they tried to make him a comic relief, but I feel like they did something with him that did not make sense, which is the cousin thing. Yeah. And a part of me wondered if it was a mistranslation, kind of like in Sailor Moon, where they translated known lovers, Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus, as cousins.
Yeah. Right.
I could... personally, I don't know that I necessarily believe that Riku and him are technically related. I think maybe they took the name being brother way too literally, and that like Sid...
He's a brother, as in like part of like...
Yeah.
As part of the... Albed culture. Like, oh yeah, we're all brothers, we're all sisters.
Yeah.
We're all from the same like clan.
But
I could see Sid probably kind of like oversees and adopts a bunch of people. Like, I do believe that Riku is his kid. I do believe that, but I don't think he seemed to care enough about Brother, but why would he?
Yes.
Or Brother does call him Pops, though, right?
Yeah, I think he is explicitly this. I can't remember in game where it was said, and B brings up a really good point as well, where it could just be a translation thing as well.
Yeah, sure.
But another thing that I'd like to point out, someone in the Discord had mentioned that it also might be like a cultural thing where like in the US, like the cousin stuff is like extremely weird, but like in other cultures it might not be as weird.
Even in the US like 100 years ago, that wouldn't be weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Simpsons episode about Shelbyville and why Shelbyville split from Springfield. It's because they wanted to go and marry their cousins. And me as a Springfield head would always find that strange. But, Brother is very much a Shelbyville.
You just want to drink a flavorless beverage called Root Marm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is cultural or just like it's supposed to be, or if it's just supposed to be weird.
Because it's also like there's, I feel like there's also kind of a trope, at least in some anime, where this is kind of a thing. Like I don't know if you guys have watched, I don't know if you guys have watched Spy Family at all, but there's also a very weird, to my American sensibilities, relationship that one of the characters has, being like a little too overly in love with his sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, I don't know if that's just like a more common thing like in Japanese media or what. I'm no expert. I'm a dumbass, so I can't really speak on it to any like authoritative way, but this is just where my mind is going.
This reminded me of it was around when I think the Queen passed away. And people was like, "Oh, well, how did she meet her husband?" It was like, "Well, they're related. They met each other at a family reunion or something." It was like, that's just how it went.
No, but as a kid, I just always thought, like, yeah, this guy's really weird. And then as I've gotten older,
he's a little extra. He's a little much.
Yeah, I think that he was comic relief that maybe wasn't done well or thought about properly when they recorded their lines. But also maybe he doesn't truly have a crush. He just like adores Yuna, so I don't know. He's weird.
Yeah, could be that.
He has the tier 3 sub emotes. It's fine.
He has code pink ready to go whenever someone's taking a nice dip in the hot springs.
I think he has a good dance move.
Oh, his dance moves are really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he does have really good dance moves.
He's real wormy.
He's got so much to offer the world, brother. You got to move on.
So yeah, brother asks Yuna what's next, and Leblanc, stepping in, says she's off to save Spear, of course. And like everyone's kind of pulling her from all directions because like once again Yuna's feeling like she's getting pulled into something she doesn't really want to be involved in.
Yeah, Payne comments on that and says always getting herself dragged into trouble.
Yeah, and like Yuna like tries to defend the like the decision to immediately go to Bevelle, and she's like, look, Bevelle's gonna have a lot of spheres. We can hunt for them on the side while we're there, so why not also go do this good thing? Yep. And like Riku just like, oh, Yuna. But then we're off, right? We're off to go.
LeBlanc says, just admit it, love, you're a goody.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But then we're off to Bevelle. And we get another mission statement right before we select the location, which is into Bevelle. That Vegnagun is bad news. We better get under Bevelle and get to the bottom of this. And I think this is probably a good time to take a quick break.
Yes.
Check in with the chocobos.
Check in with the bows. And I'll see y'all when we get back, huh?
Sleep tight.
So, Bevelle. Bevelle.
Can't take the jet ski anymore.
You can't take the jet ski anymore.
They nerfed it.
Definitively not as good as Final Fantasy X. Can't get on the Ski-Doo. Fucked up.
I don't even know if the Ski-Doo was in 10. I just remember last time we were here in this game.
Yeah, in Chapter 1.
Oh, well, I take it back.
I think it's still here.
The Ski-Doo operator is just nowhere to be seen.
It's still here, but it's like at the end of the like little waterway, so we can't ride it back, but
well, the gang, the two gangs, the greater gang now, the Gullwings and also the LeBlanc Syndicate land.
The Gullwing Syndicate.
Yeah, that's right. They land and they're like discussing what to do, and LeBlanc's like, well, it's clear what we have to do. We just have to kidnap the head honcho. Like, if we get him, then everybody, like, we'll have to do what we say. Everything falls apart, right?
Yeah, we make him lead us to Vegnagun and checkmate.
Yep. And Ormy's like, all right, so our target is the Praetor of New Yevon, Barreleye. And then Logos says a thing that I caught in a recording and I posted to Twitter because it sounds so crazy. And I was like, why did he say it like this? But like the line is, a girly man like that doesn't stand a chance without his escort. And the way he says it, he goes, a girly man. And I was like, why is it so musical? Like he does like a very like soulful, like like sing like voice of it. It's incredible.
It's weird to me that they also want to even consider listening to LeBlanc and crew because they just spent all this time like opposing them.
Yeah. I can't
immediately
believe
cool
they
with it.
let them on the airship. They're like, okay, we just stole back the sphere that they broke into our airship and stole from us. Let's let them on. Let's just have them, give them fucking passes so they can open all the doors.
And but I will say after Logos kind of says like, oh, he's girly. We'll be able to take him super well.
We got to cancel our boy for being needlessly
Yeah.
gendering of things,
Well, that's what I was saying. I was like, Logos would say some shit like that, and I would be like, Logos, shut up.
Logan, shut the fuck up, dude.
But Payne like knowingly says like, no, Barrel Eye is strong, and we already know like when
There
we
was some
met Barrel Eye,
weird
she was
connection.
very clearly like standing off to the side and trying not to be noticed.
Mm-hmm,
So.
yeah.
And she's done that to like multiple characters now, right? Like Nuge and Gipple, I think, right?
Who the fuck is Gipple?
He was the Albed faction leader.
You want to talk about character
right. Yeah, okay.
designs? Gipple.
Yeah.
Also, every time I say his name, I just think of nipple. I'm so immature.
No, fair. That makes sense.
Gippelheim.
I feel like there's a lot of... Oh, right. Gipple. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's the one who's kind of
Also a total dunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like he should be in Kingdom Hearts. You could tell that
for
Nomura
sure.
was working on Kingdom Hearts at this point.
Yeah.
He was on something.
Oh my god, this is perfect.
Just more character design. I
I was just looking for the character, like just Googling it, and I found a DeviantArt thing of just Barrel Eye, Nuge, and Gipple all A-posing, so I will post that in the Discord because it's very good to look at. All the gang's all here.
God, that could be us. That could be the three of us next time.
Yeah,
we
that's
hang
how we
out.
should be posing for the podcast.
That's right.
Okay, but which one
Oh no.
are each of you?
Oh God, yeah.
Who's Nuge?
What's the most indecisive one? Because that one's me. I call that one.
I feel like
I feel like Barrel Eyes some days just because of just the most soft spoken.
I think we need to like put that to the listeners. To
Yeah, that's on
decide
the
which of us
listeners.
are.
no, I got it. Okay.
This is why we brought you on.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
I
am
agree,
wearing
you are-
glasses, and Curtis is wearing an eye patch, so that makes it a little easier.
Yeah. No, Curtis is Gipple and yes. No. And I agree on the Barrel Eye thing because soft spoken works.
That's probably right.
And
yeah.
Carl is Nuge.
Sweet. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Carl.
I have the power to destroy this podcast on a whim.
Yeah, Carl is definitely news the way he's wearing his velour onesie while we're recording.
For the listener, I am wearing all gray today. Got the best fashion of anyone wearing just nothing but gray, like sweat clothes.
I guess you do have the glasses and long hair, buddy. So
It's true. I have my hair tied up, but
And I'm sure Gipple can play a mean guitar lick.
I was like, and I'm annoying and loud, just like Gipple, so it makes sense. But Bavel soldiers see all of us standing there, right? And they run up and
Well,
they're
before
like,
we advance, we can actually, I noticed that starting now, Barkeep will follow us to every save point.
Yes. It's
So
really
he's
good.
just there. Like,
yeah, it's really
greeting us.
sweet. He's just like chilling.
And of course, I'm like, Barkeep, no, this money is for Owaka.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's very sweet of you, buddy, but I need to give my
I
money
was
to...
worried about Miss Yuna for show, Miss Yuna, so I came along.
Yeah,
I got items for you.
I need to patronize somebody who doesn't deserve it.
Disastrous capitalism. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just stayed on the ship. But then if we progress across the high bridge, we start with cutscenes depending on our allegiance.
I was going to say, I'm
Right.
interested to see what Alex gets here, because what I got was, it's those Youth League spies. We won't have you defile this place like you did in Kilika, and then we start a battle.
Right before we start the battle, LeBlanc goes, well, good luck, and like runs
They'll
away.
take off. It's so good.
I corrected my my allegiance with some when I was catching up with the
Okay.
on Steam, but the script here says I think you just skip fighting them all together.
Oh,
That
very
makes
good.
sense.
The Gullwings. Oh, High Summoner, please forgive my rudeness, and then that's it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we get like 3 battles deep into Bavel, and everyone just forgets that we're Youth League, and they're just like, yo, what's up, Yuna? How's it going?
Yeah, once we get past the entrance, like the large gate or whatever, they're just like, oh, that's Yuna. She's the High Summoner. It's
There's
fine.
also like some guards that just won't fight you unless you
Yes.
interact with them.
I went and
Yeah,
talked
they're like,
to one
I
of the
was
guards.
gonna let you slide, but
Yeah,
since
but
you
now
keep
you come
bothering
talk.
me, you're annoying me, so let's fight. And then immediately get the shit kicked out of them.
I think the third fight I got in was the that woman walking around, and then she's like, "Yikes! It's the Gullwings!"
Right,
And then the
right.
guards come and say, "I'll save you." And this was the Machina we start fighting too. We would start seeing those little cannon guys we would fight on top of Bavel.
It's true.
Yeah.
I did change my Dressphere loadout at this point to 3 thieves. And it's awesome to have 3 thieves
sick.
in the party because you can just do infinite chains with them, and you can just like get that chain number up if you're like good at timing it or whatever. It might not even be infinite, but you can get them really high though. You can like organize it so it goes a really long time and get like crazy damage off of 3 thieves. And also if like an enemy is getting ready to hit you, you can put them in a stun animation with a thief that's long enough that even if you don't get the chain, you can keep them in that stun animation and just stun lock enemies. So I did this for a while and it was very funny.
Extremely Final Fantasy 13 of just like doing attacks at the right pattern to keep it like stun locked.
Right. But once we get past the entrance gate, like you're saying, the vibe kind of changes. People aren't attacking us anymore. They recognize us for being the High Summoner. But most people are talking about like the Praetor's missing. Nobody knows where he is. So we haven't talked about FF8 yet, but this is just the scene where everybody's running around the garden being like, "Where's Sid? Sid's gone." It's like exactly the same scene.
Zell's freaking out because Sid makes the best hot dogs, and that dude can't go 3 minutes without a hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that grill.
With the Machina that we fight, the YAC 13, interesting description here. A magic-powered Machina used by New Yevon. Both arms are cannons, making it an impressive piece of artillery. It's used for security inside temples, so it's never seen outside. And I'm wondering if they were using that in Final Fantasy X as well. Just because we never really got deep into temples like that, so we never really had to like fight them. But I mean, we know that Yevon didn't really actually give a shit about Machina. Like New Yevon's like, oh, these are machines, so it doesn't. But it's like, I thought that was pretty interesting. I'm like, have you guys just been using Machina the whole time?
I guess they.
I mean, we know the
right?
one temple did have Machina, and Waka was like, wait, what the hell? Like, why are we using Machina to get down there?
Did they have them during the wedding scene?
Maybe
They did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think they had them then.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, which is like a nice consistency. That like that's where we see them here again. Is that like
Reused
that specific
assets.
kind of Machina is?
Yeah,
only
we
for-
used as. I'm like, oh, nice.
Continuity.
But yeah, once we get inside the temple, we can actually ride the lift up from Final Fantasy X to like if you remember when we were being tried by Grandmeister Micah. He like had us on that like little elevator. We can like ride that elevator up, but it doesn't go anywhere or do anything. We can't go back to the Room of the Faith or anything like that. But like it is there, which I think is cool.
That drove me crazy because I was like, where do I go? How do I fucking do this? There's like a very minor puzzle that all boils down to like the key mechanic of Final Fantasy X-2 that separates it from 10, which is hold down a button so that you can climb on top of stuff. And I like completely forgot about that. And that's how you solve the puzzle. I was like, fuck.
Well, when I took that lift up to that first like little viewing platform, I was like, well, this is weird. And I tried going back. I had to reload my save the autosave because it would not let me engage the door that like the trigger that let me go back down.
Oh, weird.
I was just trapped up there.
Oh no.
Thankfully, it autosaved like right as I entered the temple, so it didn't really matter too much. But yeah. So there's like I guess a puzzle here where we go to like one room to the left of the entryway, and there's like a big kind of like
a sigil on the wall.
A sigil. And then there's not only anything to do there, but it does look important because this is just another version of like a trial of the faith type of thing.
Yeah, my video game brain was like, that's what I need to do. So I'm going to hit the A button, and it did nothing.
Yeah.
And then I went to the other thing, and there's just a pedestal, and I'm like, there's nothing in here. I'm hitting A on the pedestal, and nothing is happening, so I must go. And it's like...
But in the opposite room across from the main temple atrium, there's like a little... what would you call it? A little elevation that we can climb on top of that activates the sigil in the first room to knock out that chunk of wall.
Who makes buttons you have to use your feet with?
Yeah.
I guess this is like a Zelda dungeon in that
It's a
way.
DDR cab to unlock it.
But once we go behind the part of wall that's taken out, there is
you have to run back to the other sigil, which the door has now opened.
That's right.
And climb in there.
There's a pedestal that
is showing like a holographic projection of the lift that we were on. If you activate it, the holographic projection lowers, and I think it's supposed to like indicate that it is no longer going to go up when you get on the lift, but now it will descend. And so if we go back to the main room,
this was
and we get on
over designed because there's 2 pedestals, and I feel like there should have just been one that toggles.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, so what does this one do and what does this one do? One just makes it go up and one of them makes it go down, but I kept going back and forth, but so I was like, what am I doing? So yeah, they could have just made it one.
It definitely reads like there was going to be some back and forth that maybe they just scrapped at some point, and they're like, well, this is going to get confusing enough with everything else that's about to happen, so we'll just let that go.
Yeah. But
now we can descend into
we descend into that like that incredibly frustrating temple puzzle from
the cloister.
We go into the cloister of trials for Bevel that I famously hated in Final Fantasy X. I was like,
this was the auto scroller, right? Where Titus is just standing there and you have to like
I
do like the music, fair enough, but
we do notice that there are fiends here.
There are fiends. I do like that they're not random encounters in this area. They're like, most of the time they're either visible on the map or they pop up when we get to a certain position or like try to grab a chest or something. So I thought that was kind of cool.
There's one flan later on that's like guarding a treasure chest that you can just completely walk past and not even fight.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. But it's much easier to get through because it is...
Yeah, we're not actually doing the puzzle.
Yeah, thank God.
It's funny when they just use the trial like as just a screen that we can walk around on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, second time that's happened, I think, right? Happened in Xanarkand as well.
Yeah, the Xanarkand one, we can... this is where all the monkeys are hanging out.
It is cool going back to traumatic places from the first one, like really terrible puzzles or really, really difficult boss areas, and just being like, oh, cool, I can just walk around and it's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, once we're through this area, we enter like a small like waiting room or whatever. That barkeep follows us into again. So we can,
he doesn't give a shit about the danger. He's like, I gotta sell you some shit in
I'm
case
guessing
you need it.
This was like a cutscene before we enter the next room, which is like a Chamber of the Faith.
Yeah, I guess that was the Chamber of Faith, yeah.
The next one, which now it just has a big hole in it.
Yeah, the area where the Faith was is just a giant hole.
There's a chasm.
Mm-hmm. And the gang jumps down into it.
This makes sense now.
Oh.
Because you remember this is where Bahamut lived?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the Bahamut's faith is now missing.
Indeed.
Yeah. Also, we get the good video game sign.
Is gone.
We get the good video game sign of a bunch of treasure chests just giving us like high value items like high potions, remedies, tons of Phoenix Downs, 8 potions, 4 high potions, all that stuff. It's like, oh, cool. I'm probably going to need these. And also just barkeep following us everywhere being like, hey, if you need items, I can sell them to you.
And then we go into, and this is where like earlier I was saying it's a land of contrasts between like the new dungeons and the old areas in Final Fantasy X that like sometimes they look really cheap or whatever. I really like this area because once we jump down into it,
it's deep ground, baby.
It's like deep ground.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the middle part between deep ground and like because it just feels like we're descending below the Shinra building more and more before we reach Reactor Zero. Like, oh, everything's like high tech and like lit up and kind of sci-fi,
right?
And grand, like humongous chambers.
Yeah, we're in this enormous chamber, right?
You gotta shoot gargoyles or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we are kind of in like a chamber that's as like about as large as like some of the things we would see in Dirge of Cerberus. Like,
there's chains hanging from the ceiling. It looks like there is a giant like sphere in the middle of this room, not unlike like Reactor Zero.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like some kind of reactor or machine.
Vice is
or
hanging
something
out in there somewhere.
Oh no,
as well. And the machine, the big like sphere in the middle, does have like reactors around it that look like little like Mako reactors or whatever.
Yeah,
these pillars with kind of Yevon sigils everywhere. I noticed that once we get closer to it, I found it in the Omega. There actually is like concept art of this place where it looked like it was sealed. There was like these ginormous like banners that were hanging over the hole in the middle, and those are if you look closely when we're walking around there, they have been torn away.
Oh, cool. But as we kind of make our way into here and get like some shots of what we're looking at, the LeBlanc Syndicate comes in, and LeBlanc says, it's just like Nuji said, from the look of things, there must be something incredible down here. Ormy says, man, oh man, what have we gotten ourselves into this time? And Logo says, you almost have to admire them for being able to hide something this commodious.
Commodious?
Ooh,
What's
what a
all this
word.
commotion?
Yeah, it's a good word.
Commodious.
Does commodious just mean big?
I would imagine. I
I'm
didn't
gonna
look it up. 'Cause I'm like, I don't want this nerd teaching me new stuff.
Formal, especially for furniture or a building. Roomy and comfortable.
Oh.
Like a commode. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Commode, yeah,
It's
of
pretty
course.
good. Pretty good.
It's so homey.
I
Yeah.
see. Similar words: roomy, spacious, substantial. Okay.
Nice. Payne is right in character, and she just says, Yevon's always liked hiding things, but this is really ridiculous. Like, I love
Yeah.
just more shots at Yevon.
But yeah, so as we're looking at the area, we get like a good overview of it, and an alarm goes off, I guess, because intruder alert, right? And Yuna turns to LeBlanc and says, "Watch the exit." And she goes, "I don't take orders." And then there's like a pause, and like there's like enemies coming at us, like those like yaks are like flying at us, the YCs. And she goes, but this time I'll make an exception. Y'all take care.
Yeah, leave it to us, love. I love
Yep.
it, dude.
But
We can talk to them after too, and it's like, like leave the easier job. Leave guard duty to us. Bwahaha.
yeah. And then Yuna pulls a very Tidus move.
Oh, yeah.
She grinds down a giant chain, just like we did in the
Extremely Sonic adventure, too. Yeah.
to get to
I'm out of here.
Yep. And that's how we get to the main space on top of that like center spherical area, right?
Yeah, there is a little tutorial thing. There's like a little pillar that's just off to the one side before we jump on the chain that says passage to the lower sanctum is blocked. Manually disable the security system to proceed. Use the 3 control towers with blue lights to disable the security system. But be careful, the towers with red lights are set to defense mode. Note, anyone attempting to access the sanctum without proper clearance will be eliminated regardless of the circumstances. Which I guess it goes to show, like, even if you're a high summoner Yuna, you're gonna get got by the security system.
Right. But yeah, and then we are. I don't know what I wouldn't really call it a mini game. I guess it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, like a
where we have to
puzzle, I
walk
guess.
around.
It's a little slow.
Yeah, we have to walk around to
it's-
the various. What do they call them?
For the 100%, absolutely. Took me a little while.
What do they call it? Control towers. We have to walk around to the 3 control towers with the blue lights.
This area feels very hanging edge as well, and some of the kind of just the vibes at the end
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
from 13. Just this ginormous structures kind of hanging in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and every time we activate one of the control towers to allow us to go down further.
Yeah, because every tower unlocks like a platform in the center that extrudes or moves around, right? Kind of like a weird combination lock that turns combined with like a spiral staircase.
Some
Yeah.
of the towers generate platforms, and others of the towers turn the platforms around on the inside of this cylinder, like this empty like gap, right? That we can then use to walk down and get to the next area. And each time we use one, we get into a battle. But importantly, after we use the third one, we get into a boss battle with the boss from Final Fantasy X that was blocking the Xanarkand Chamber of the Faith.
Now it's full of monkeys. Yeah, what is this one called again?
This one is called the Precepts Guard, I think.
Right.
Yeah, which is why I accidentally called the Precepts Keeper or something like that.
There's a few keepers in this. There's a Sanctuary
Yeah.
Keeper, and there's like
Yeah,
a
it's got a
keeper.
different
Yeah.
name in 10, I think, right?
It does,
I
it
feel like
does.
most of the enemies that are in this
Might even
game.
be a palette swap, but it's the
Yeah.
same. It's the one that we had. It was actually the one in 10 where we got to like play around with like character placement.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. We don't get to do that this time around. It's kind of just a straight up fight with this battle engine. But it is a fiend charged with guarding the Bavel Underground and eliminating intruders. It never attacks head on, but commands a fearsome array of magical attacks. And it has 9,999 MP. Which
Okay.
was nice because I just used like absorb and MP absorb a whole bunch on it.
I think it did for me, but I think it always begins with a poison attack to like poison one of your characters. And because I had the 3 thief set up, I could keep it stunned so long that it would only get that attack off, and then I would be able to kill it before it got its second turn. So I was just like, like totally keeping it at bay the whole time.
Nice. Yeah, it wasn't too difficult of a fight for me. I did use Riku to steal from it, and I got 2 mana tablets, which, if I remember in 10, were pretty high value items, so I'm pretty excited about that. And then with, I noticed that it's also weak to Holy, so I was just using Pain to use Excalibur, and I think I even switched Riku to use Excalibur as well, which was really nice, and wasn't too difficult of a fight. If you only have to do it once.
If you only have to do it once. So it sounds like, Carl, you went for the ribbon.
Yes. So in the 100% guide, after you do all of these like weird puzzles of just going to the towers, which is literally just go to like the first tower that you're standing by when you come off the chain, that's number 1, and then going clockwise, it goes up to number 6. So you just go 1, 3.
It gets a little disorienting because there's no map, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, there's not. You just go 1, 3, 5, and then you can proceed forward to the next part of the dungeon. But if you want to go through and do it with 100%, let me see if I can pull up the actual
Specifically,
guide.
this 100% is 100% achievements, because you don't have to do this for completion, but you do have to get it if you want all the achievements.
To get
interesting.
I think this item too, and maybe I'm confusing the part, but I'm pretty sure what you get from this was a required thing to do in
the ribbon?
speed run. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, ribbon.
Okay, yeah,
ribbon
yeah.
makes sense. It's a high value item.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
It's really good. If you're not familiar with ribbons in Final Fantasy games, it makes you immune to all status ailments, and there's probably also implications with like
Death proof probably and stuff like that.
or like I don't know if you can mix accessories or something, but there might be something like deep speed tech of getting extra use out of a ribbon, other than just not having to worry about status things, but. Once you first do the towers to activate the path forward, you have to go to Tower 2 and do that once, which is a boss fight. Activate Tower 1, which is this boss again, 4 times.
Yeah.
Then go to 6, do that once. Go back to Tower 1 and do it 2 more times, which is 2 more of that boss. And on the last one, at least for me, I'm assuming this is like going to always be the case, oversold, which my strat of like slowly like whittling it down like did not really work on that. I was like, oh, I just need to make sure I don't die on this fight because it is a long way away from the save sphere.
This takes like half an hour.
Yeah, so I forget the strat that I ended up using, but I just like went like I think I just switched Riku to be an alchemist and just mixed every turn to make sure everyone was topped off. And
I was trying to figure out what the like actual mechanics were happening, because it always shows the same camera angle of something happening in the big chamber that we're trying to descend into, and I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm assuming that like we're basically extruding more platforms to go even farther down than where we're
exactly.
And then also rotating them the current like orientation so we can actually step down there.
Yeah.
Notably, I remember that we had to get one boss fight with the Georapella.
Yes,
the thing that swallows your enemies in the water.
Yeah. Gasgano or whatever.
Yeah, it was Gasgano from FF10.
Yeah,
he's
much easier this time. I feel like
he's back in a big way.
He doesn't swim anymore.
Yeah,
he doesn't swim anymore. This is this boss right here is the one that I was basically like learning all the black magic for, because these sets of bosses, because I remembered when I was younger playing this and being like, yeah, Faraga just cooks these MFs or whatever.
Nice.
Like you can just because there's so many of them like in a row, right? That like it helps a lot. Oh, and speaking of which, when we were in the Leblanc Chateau, one of the items you can get there is a gold hairpin, which divides the cost of all magic in half, so you can now have super cheap.
That would have been
casts.
smart.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, that's really good. I think the precept, like the one that we have to fight enough times to get it to oversoul, I think also always uses demi attacks. So you're always going to be okay to like heal back up, but like when it's oversouled, it's attacking much faster and bringing you very low HP, and then can absolutely like decimate you if you're not staying on top of making sure everyone's like topped off.
Yeah.
On that subject of gravity attacks, Can we go into that first room, the first one we open up to, and come back to get the ribbon?
I assume so, but I don't know.
Because when we go into the first hallway, if we take a right, we get a garment grid that has called Downtrotter, which has Gravity Eater enabled on it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you can use that, and that is something that I immediately put on because that's a really good garment grid. It's only got 3.
Like, that'd be very good for fighting this boss fight over and over again.
Kind of backfired on me a little bit. I'm excited to talk about.
Did you see what is printed on that garment grid?
I did not, but I can assume.
As an FF8 fan?
No, what's on there?
I don't remember any of what that
It's Diablo.
Like.
Oh, nice. It's
really?
Diablos? Fuck yeah. I think I saw that and assumed it was like the princess or the precept guard.
Yeah. Oh, I guess.
No, that just straight up looks like Diablos. That looks like Diablos.
Yeah, it looks like Diablos. Who like famously uses gravity magic, but I guess it also like you remember in the Omega dungeon, there were also those devils that used gravity.
Yeah,
attacks.
like the Pharaoh.
Yeah, it
ones.
could be them.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Whom knows?
Yeah, the Downtrotter.
Well, it's close enough to Diablo, and I love FF8, so headcanon.
Oh, I also want to
that's
call
who's on
out
there.
again. Curtis called out a spelling mistake or a grammatical error on the 100% guide. I think it calls it the Downtrotter, or the Downtrodden garment grid, but it is actually the Downtrotter. So fix your shit.
Speaking of which, I posted in our chat that the top comment on the 100% guide on Steam, or like the most recent comment, is a like, hey, you forgot to add this one thing in chapter 1. And I was like, oh no, I don't remember if I did that you need to do to get 100%, which I believe I did, but just in case anybody's playing
Carl
along
did
with
not,
us.
probably.
I probably did not.
You do need to talk. You don't get a percentage point for it or anything, so you won't even notice you've done it or not done it until chapter 5. But when you're in Kilika in chapter 1, you do need to talk to the cameraman on the boat who says, yeah, they're building a new Youth League headquarters. Do you want to look through my camera at it? You need to do that.
Oh,
I didn't do that.
I did do that, but I also have pretty much given up on 100%
Okay, well.
because I was like, I got into Bavel and I had like the point of no return, and I was like, I didn't do all the PR shit. No.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I forgot to do it in chapter 1, but there's enough left in chapter 2 and 3 to still get it.
Right, but I didn't do it in chapter 2 is what I'm saying. I did like one spot in one of the areas where it's like right before the Chocobo Eater is where I did it, and I was like, all right, well. But anyway,
Are we all done with the ribbon questing?
Yeah.
Cool. So we go in. Theoretically, if you are following the guide, you would have gotten the John Trotter, that one. Yeah, garment grid this time. Like taking a right, and then there's like a little gondola you have to ride across, or you have to climb up on top of a pillar to enable the little gondola, right?
Yep.
Yo, same. She's just like me.
Curtis is like, it's almost 420. Look at this picture of Riku.
Dude, yeah.
The next area we go into, right, is how do you pronounce this word? Jail? Gaol?
That is pronounced jail. I learned that by playing Elden Ring and calling it a gale for a long time, and then like finding out that no, it's actually called a jail.
Oh.
And the function of it in Elden Ring is literally a jail. So it's just like an archaic way of spelling jail.
I've heard it said in 14.
Interesting.
As it's like it's almost, maybe I'm mishearing it though.
No, I mean
jail.
it's
okay.
Yeah, I mean it's also I am always of the mindset of like pronunciation doesn't really matter. Like unless you're pronouncing someone's name incorrectly and they're like, "Hey, this is how I pronounce my name."
Another Final Fantasy VII Rebirth moment. Apparently, it's Kate Sith. So
it is Kate Sith. Yeah.
Who are we to say anything about anything?
I don't know which way is up.
You can just pronounce something any way you want, and once you publish it, who's
that
going to
was
argue
what we
with
said.
you?
I think we said that in preparation for people to be like, "Oh no, you guys are pronouncing this wrong." I think with Eris or Aerith, like when we were doing that, I'm like, "Here's the thing." It doesn't matter. These are made up characters. Pronounce it how you want. Just have fun.
Well, it's the same with Titus thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Man, you could name him whatever you want.
Which,
they never say his name.
interestingly,
This next line coming up.
I was gonna bring this up. Yeah. I think at some point around here, we find the area where Vegnagun was, and Riku says, "Hey, isn't this the area where we watched that sphere with you know who on it?" And I'm like, are they just like really still trying to avoid saying Titus because they've never said Titus? Yeah.
Remember, I named him Tybus. I have
That's
to believe
true.
that his
That's
name
true.
is Tybus.
Or I named him Thurston.
Yeah, Thurston.
Yeah, that's a weird mechanical room. There's like a bunch of pillars and like machines going around. I actually did not even interact with this thing.
Well, it's very easy not to interact with, right? Because there's a large device in the center of the room that basically has 5 arms coming out from it, and each of those arms have these like large pistons, and it rotates by a little bit and then moves the pistons, not randomly but seemingly randomly, up and down in various amounts, and then rotates again. And we're just kind of invited to walk through the room and then move on to the next area, but off of the camera. Like, if you don't trust the camera as being like the dividing line of where the room is, you can walk toward the camera and discover a hidden control panel for it. And if you step on the control panel, it freezes the machine where it is, giving Yuna an opportunity to jump onto the arms if the arms are in a lowered state.
And it's the ring. I was thinking of the ribbon, but the ring is what you get for doing this like puzzle.
I did not do this at all.
Ring with a
crucial.
W.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking at my screenshots now, and I see a bunch of treasure chests that I did not get. I'm pretty sure, and I'm like,
I think the ring was it ups your magic, but it lowers your defense, I think.
God, that sounds so good. I would use the shit out of that.
Or am I wrong about that?
I might just go back and do that, and
yeah.
I don't know that you can't. Maybe you
I just
can.
mean from like a save file, because the bosses that
I took
are coming up are pretty tough, but I feel like I
just
beat them
remember
again.
the ring and smooth sailing.
Yeah. It does. The ring, the definition is from an ancient war, makes the user a spell casting machine. It gives you an auto ability called Majo's Soul, and it lowers your max HP and it lowers your defense. But Yuna's magic was like 60 before she equipped it, and it's 117 afterwards.
Wow.
So almost double.
That's incredible. That sounds really good.
It looks like it says generates a constant poison and haste effect during battle.
Yeah, I think it does that too.
That might be why you put a ribbon on.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Smart.
There's also
that sounds every one of my accessories so far for Yuna has been like, oh, do this thing that gives her plus 10 or plus 20, like, so like max plus 30 points. I'm like, I'd rather just get that and make her a glass cannon.
There is also a item here called Bloodlust that is the opposite of that, where it lowers, at least for Yuna, it lowered her magic and magic defense to 1, and then it took her normal defense and lowered it by 20, and then it over doubled her strength.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
so
just
basically,
love
like,
stuff
by
like
doing
this
puzzle, you get, a magic and a physical version of kind of the same item.
I want to go and get these and play around with these, because it sounds like it would be very interesting to be like, okay, well, I know that this boss coming up is only using like fire attacks, so I can put on like the thing to make Pain get like Fire Eater, so that way it doesn't matter that she has no magic defense and she can just do quad 9 damage or something with just attack.
Also, just as a little like aside about this puzzle specifically, once Yuna climbs onto the device in the middle of the room, it starts moving again, and it almost like kills her. And she looks down to see what is happening, and Riku has jumped back on the button and just turned it on. And she's just like, yeah, I figured out how it works. No problem.
Good God.
But then like once you're on the machine, you basically press the square button to like have Riku either turn the machine on or off to spin it around.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And then we're allowed to move on.
We get to another like series of puzzles that is...
This is on the left side, I think, if we just kind of follow the
That's
catwalk kind of clockwise away from this machine.
Yeah.
Instead of counterclockwise towards the control panel.
Yeah, so again, I've pointed this out in the past about how this 100% guide, which is very good, I'm very glad it exists, kind of just assumes that you know exactly what you're doing. So it's like for like not for a first playthrough. seems to be the intention.
I had
it
to
says
look up a video walkthrough because I don't know. These instructions are very unclear. So
yeah,
I'm
this
gonna
just
watch
says
someone do it.
get the garment grid, then take the east path at the intersection, and then it says after the machine puzzle, you'll find 3 lifts. So I heard machine puzzle and I didn't know what that meant, and then I found the 3 lifts. I'm like, oh, okay, I found it. I didn't know that there was that whole puzzle where you get really good like accessories.
But yeah, this puzzle is very disorienting.
I kind of just followed the guide completely on this one with like the lifts, where I think basically you go like on the left lift and it brings you up to a thing, you activate a switch, which then allows like you to go down a different one, and it's kind of like looping around. There's like 3.
The solution is specifically helping you access a missable item, which is a dress sphere we can get.
Yeah.
There's probably a simpler solution if we just want to go up and continue going for the story.
Yeah, specifically the way that this one works, right, is that there are 3 lifts. There's one in the center, one on the left, one on the right, and the one on the left and the one on the right have a little pedestal by them to show you whether they're docked there or not. The location or the destination for the center one is dependent on those pedestals. So if you ride, say, the right one up to the top room and you circle back to this room, only the left pedestal will be on. So if you get on the center lift, it'll take you to the left instead of up. And directly left and directly right from the center lift are 2 more switches that allow you to cross a bridge in a room from now to get a dress sphere. It's very weird. It doesn't explain how this happens. You have to dick around with it for a while and just be like,
the problem
okay,
making puzzles out of reused assets, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is very unclear mechanically why this is working.
That dress sphere, though, is
Yo,
one of
that
my
dress
favorites.
sphere, though?
That dress sphere.
Do
Dark
not be
Knight.
skipping this dress sphere.
No.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
It's funny because you mentioned glass cannon earlier, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, that's kind of the whole concept of this dress sphere.
Yep.
And I love it.
Yes, this is the Dark Knight dress sphere,
Finally.
which is so sick.
It's my favorite design.
The character designer is probably having a blast.
Yeah. The guy who loves designing monsters gets to make the Dark Knight.
If you'll
dresses
remember
now.
from Final Fantasy IV, when we were playing that, Cecil's the Dark Knight, right? And his special attack is darkness, which allowed him to sacrifice some HP to hit everybody on the screen for a large amount of damage. And Dark Knight has that built in. So like you don't have to learn it with abilities or anything. You just get the ability to sacrifice some HP to do a lot of damage to everybody on screen, even if there's only one character on the screen. Like even if you're only fighting like a boss, they're just there by themselves, it still does a significantly larger amount of damage than your normal attack. So it's kind of worth it.
They look so fucking cool.
Yeah, all of them look
awesome.
great. I use this on Pain.
Me too.
Me too. Yep.
Seems like the right dress sphere for her. It's also her sword stays the same. It just gets like even more metal. Like it just has like it's like serrated now. It has like barbs sticking out of it.
Yeah, even Yuna's looks like a much more fucked up version of Brother.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I really like Riku's helmet in this one. I think it's really cool.
It's really cool.
Riku's is the Masamune is what she has.
Oh, okay.
Oh
That's what it's
yeah.
called.
Holy shit. That's so cool.
It looks more like a big Goron sword to me, but
Yeah, it's very cool. I really, really like this outfit. I think it's a great job, dress sphere. Incredible. And like I said, the fucking darkness is so good. And darkness can also kind of be used to cheese the rest of the game if you really need to.
Oh, or do you mean Karen?
Charon? Yeah.
Charon, yeah, it might be Charon.
Is that the one that sacrifices your own? Or
Yeah, you you do quad 9s and then you die.
That's
But-
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a meteor.
I know that with a alchemist and 2 dark knights, even at max HP, if both of your dark knights use darkness, they don't damage themselves more than 2,000 HP. So the alchemist can mix a high potion and a potion together to restore everybody to full health. And so you can have 2 full HP darknesses every single round and do like 6,000 with both characters and just get all your HP back every single turn. And
that's why I love this game. It's
That's
so
so
cool.
good.
It's
It's so
cool,
good.
I
yeah.
wish we had the like AP charge like things where you can customize like how your characters like when we were like doing the the AP grinding with Don Tomberry. We're like, oh yeah, like if I just have like a character sacrifice their life, but another person has like some sort of ally AP charge enabled, they can get like crazy amount of experience points just by like letting someone die over and over again.
The nice thing about this is the AP is pretty like it's pretty insignificant. Like I'm looking at Catron, and you need 20 AP points to learn that, and that's ridiculous. That's so easy to learn so quick.
Yeah, it's so good. Actually, I'm not sure. What are the other skills for Dark Knight?
Bio.
Ooh.
Are there any accessories with Auto Phoenix?
I would imagine maybe at some point. I do have SOS regen on Pain as well, which wouldn't work for the
Charon.
like Charon. But
I just thought it would be so funny to just like abuse the system where you just like sacrifice your life and then just come right back up at the end. Like
like an FF7 just having like final materia or whatever it's called, where you just summon Phoenix anytime you die. So it's just like, oh, I win.
I would say the auto abilities were pretty good because that's how you could like, it was like poison proof, confuse proof, stuff like that. Is something I remember from it.
Yeah.
It says one of the things is you can cast Arcana magic.
Huh.
There's like an entire series of set of magic in this game called Arcana spells, and apparently they are Drain, Dimmy, Confuse, Break, Bio, Doom, Death, and one called Black Sky.
What is? I've never used that. That looks cool, actually.
Black Sky says it deals a moderate amount of damage to all enemies and has a chance of inflicting death.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be my main for Pain, which is good because I just maxed out her warrior stat. So having a bunch of AP get dumped into this job now is great.
It also has a higher natural strength stat than warrior, which is pretty cool.
Oh, awesome. Even better.
I think, is it the second most? Maybe. I can't remember how much Samurai has. Oops, spoiler.
Wow, more jobs.
More jobs, wow.
Yeah, spoiler, there's going to be even more.
But yeah, regardless, though, you should get Dark Knight. It rules.
It looks fucking cool. I'm going to try to use it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
And on this same screen that we get Dark Knight, we have an opportunity to use it against the boss right here.
And we get an opportunity to save, and I recommend saving because holy shit.
You know what? This time, I guess because like I've played the game before and I'm like used to it, I was like, this fight easy. But I remember in the past having trouble with this fight before.
The secret is
you're talking about Barrel Eye?
Yeah, Barrel Eye is really fast, so that's why people whatever. You know what I mean?
I think right? I think it's right.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like
the river Styx entity, like the boatman.
The ferry.
Indeed, yes.
The great Hades character. Yeah.
Don't steal his stash.
Yeah. And that's what I've always done for it. And then that ends
really
up being a huge speedrun strat too. You just have to make sure, I think whatever has the shortest ATB. So you have two people on Dark Knight and somebody is a thief. And you just keep reviving the other two and hope he doesn't kill the thief. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. That's a good strat.
But yeah, so we do see Barrel Eye walk around the corner, right?
The gull wings. I was wondering who was there. You don't have to tell me. I know why you've come. You're here to destroy the weapon that threatens all Spira, Vegnagun. Am I right? If it could be destroyed, we would have done so long ago. But Vegnagun must not be touched. Neither you nor Nuge seem to understand that.
And so like, oh, I like this. There's a little bit of intrigue, right?
Yeah,
so it's like building it up, like what's happening here. And I also like that, it's always interesting to me in a story where you have the different good guys and bad guys, and they all just kind of like disagree on a way to get a thing done, and that is where like a lot of the tension comes in, right? Because like Barrel Eye doesn't seem to be necessarily a fan of Vegnagun or having it there. He's just like, you can't touch it. If you touch it, it's gonna go wrong. Like, But the rest of the world's very much like, yeah, but you have like the end of the world ready to go at your fingertips. That can't be like, you can't just do that. So it's a cool little dynamic, I think, that this adds.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, Pain asks him if he's talked to Nuge, and Barrel Eye just says he cannot be trusted.
Yeah.
And Riku says, and you can be? And he goes,
He's like, yeah,
touche.
fair point.
Yeah. I suppose Yevon has brought that distrust upon itself. At any rate, you need not interfere. Leave Vegnagun to me. Which to me seems like a natural, like, hey, don't worry about it, homies. Y'all go home. I'll take care of Vegnagun. Except, like, as he's saying that, he's getting out his weapon.
Yeah.
And Yuna's like, what are you going to do? And he goes, the only thing I can do, keep those who would seek to harm Vegnagun away. Now, please leave. And then, like,
I took that kind of as him being like, I will fuck you up if you come any closer. I am going to make sure no one gets near Vegnagun. So you guys can just leave if you want. I'll take care of it, but I will not let anyone harm it. And it's like, he's giving us an option here.
Yeah.
He's not just like, he's not being the aggressor. He's like, you take one more fucking step. I'm going to be spinning my arms like this. I'm going to be kicking the air as I walk. And if you get hit, it's your own fault.
And then Pain says, yeah, well, I'm going to be kicking my legs like this. And if you get hit, it's your own fault. And then Yuna turns on and off the lights and goes, fight, 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 fight. But yeah, Pain actually is like, I don't care. I'm going. Like, I'm going to fight this guy and fuck him up. And, like, it's funny because, like, I feel like the rest of the party, like, even Yuna and, like, Riku are kind of like, what is happening right now? Like, why is Pain so adamant about getting back there? And, like, why is she so cool with fighting Barrel Eye? And even Barrel Eye is like, Pain, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
it says Pain. Like, before the battle, right before the last thing he says is Pain.
Yeah, and he's like super, he's like, he says it in a very, like, surprised way where he's like, what?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I did a scan immediately, and it says, the Praetor of New Yevon, his actions are decidedly suspicious. Still, he seems to have his reasons, ... I'm like, ooh, evocative.
He is hella fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, he's so fucking fast.
Yeah. He's like he's one person. We are 3 people, and I think he gets more turns than we do.
He gets like 2 turns per normal turn.
Yeah, he's super fast.
I think he can also cast Stop. Yeah. He has a physical attack that inflicts Stop, which I did not realize was happening. And I was just like, what the fuck? I'm just standing still as he's slowly beating the shit out of me until I'm dead.
Yeah,
I noticed that he did stop on Pain right after she transformed into Dark Knight.
Have any of you guys been using Gun Mage at all?
Yes.
Carl has.
Okay, because he actually has a really good skill that you really can't get for a while called Drill Shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that
was worth getting.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check. I think I am going to go back and redo this just so I can get those accessories, but yeah.
It is insane how much there is to this game.
It's so good. It's like
it's all buried in the mechanics. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like on the surface, he seems very like, well, they're just like reusing the world and whatnot. But I feel like they like kind of under the hood, they got
like
a lot
I want them to make a Final Fantasy X-2 where it's just like all of the monster arena stuff. I mean, I know they kind of have that. I haven't gotten into that at all, but I just want to like play around with this battle system in like really difficult ways, like we could at the end of 10.
Damn, this skill does 3/4 of the target's max HP, not their current HP.
That's Drill Shot? Wow.
That's Drill Shot. It does say the way to get Barrel Eye to use it is he will use it on the character who hit him last when he's hit for the 10th time. So if you want to teach it to every character, you need to like physically attack him 30 times, but you have to make sure that the 10th, 20th, and 30th hit are the 3 different characters.
I wish you could just use the attack, like use the enemy skill on another character.
Oh yeah.
Like,
learn it from each other.
That would be a really nice homage to Final Fantasy II. I think.
Indeed.
Just get stronger by beating the shit out of your friends.
And this is the 10th Final Fantasy II, as you can tell from the name.
Exactly.
Is it fair to say that this is the first like challenging boss?
I would say so. I can't think of any other one that I was like, oh, like I immediately got game over against him, and then I beat him on the follow-up attempt, but it comes at you so fast. Like you don't even like, I like to kind of sit there and like strategize a little bit and see what I'm up against. And like by the time I was ready to like even think, I was like, okay, well, Pain is stopped, Yuna's dead, and Riku is not going to be able to like do anything about this.
You got to be fast. You got to be quick on your feet for this one.
I'm seeing one of the recommended strategies is to be in haste by using a chocobo wing, which I think like right before here on our lead up as we were getting like 1 million potions and 1 million remedies and stuff, we did get a chocobo either wing or whatever the other one is.
Plume or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, this imagine if we weren't playing for 100%, this probably would have been quite a doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I was thinking that probably like we're having a decently easy time with a lot of these bosses because we have all of the accessories and all the garment grids and all that stuff that we've got.
Get back on the airship from here?
No.
So we're just like stuck if we kind of hit a brick wall here, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's
Mm-hmm.
rough.
I mean,
they
the
load you
enemies
up with
give
a bunch
enough
of
money, and Barkeep's here, so we can always like
Barkeep. I need a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have 6 guns, right? But no. I guess 4. I guess Pain
You
and
also have a heavy gunner, right?
yeah, I was gonna say Pain and Riku only use 1 gun when they're
The alchemists have the giant guns, right?
That's true. Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
But he also has an attack called Glint that I think is like one of the scarier ones because it hits all 3 characters for a large amount of damage, like a large amount of HP.
His staff that he's using to kick the shit out of us gets comically long as he like helicopters it around to hit everyone.
Interestingly, actually, I kind of take back what I just said. His staff gets super large and he spins it around, but it is proximity based. So if you have a character who's like jumping backwards or overshooting or like moving, you can dodge. I mean, you can't. It's just a a product of the animation that's playing. But it's possible that it won't hit everybody.
Yeah,
which I thought was interesting. Also, I don't know if like it plays the same way every time or if everybody has the same experience. Is the camera always the same when you fight bosses?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because I thought it was kind of cool that like the camera on this fight is like such that the ground is perfectly flat. Like you don't see the ground. You're kind of almost looking up at the characters a little bit. So it's hard to tell where they are spatially between each other. So like when Glint missed a character, I was like, how far away am I from him? Because I can't see the floor. So like I don't know where everybody is. That's kind of interesting.
But yeah, we take down Barrel Eye.
Yeah, we take down Barrel Eye.
Gone.
Pain, we're just immediately seeing Pain, and she says, sorry, I'm going ahead. And Yuna says, you have your reasons. And Riku's like, fill us in later, Kay. And Pain's like already like down the hallway. She's like, much later.
Yeah.
And then Riku goes after her, and we get some more Yuna dialogue where she says, with so many things woven together, what could be waiting where the threads meet? And then we get another scene where we see an old friend.
This is basically the Vice throne room of if we're making the comparison to like Reactor Zero.
Yeah, okay, we walk into yet another boss arena, and luckily we have an old ally that's right in front of us.
Importantly, this room that we're walking into is the room from the Vegnagun spheres, right?
Yeah,
like we've reached the area where Vegnagun was stored.
This is like the same room where we saw on the sphere like that fake Titus. Titus
this is the room where Vegnagun was actually stored.
Okay, because I thought there was maybe a cutscene where we see someone walking along and we see you're the only one who can help me, Vegnagun, or whatever.
There was a scene like that. I don't remember where it was, but this is the room where where this Lynn character and the Titus ? Stand-in were like shot to death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, this is like the room that we're like walking into, and it's very large, it's spherical, and I like that we also like the camera starts outside of the room, and the camera comes with us through the door, like into the room. So we're kind of like seeing it presented to us as though we were a character.
There's
like
giant cables hanging from from the ceiling, as we've noticed.
Yeah, there's like large cables and these like harnesses that are coming from the walls and the ceiling, showing where it once was connected to Vegnagun, but Vegnagun has been removed or escaped or something, and like torn out these cables from the wall.
Speaking of, I think a random NPC did say a while ago you could talk to. Said, "Did the ground just shake? My nerves, perhaps."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right outside Bavel. After we get past like the gauntlet of easy to kill soldiers or whatever.
And then, I'm sorry, Carl. Yes.
No, that's fine. That's all important. I didn't have that in screenshot, so thank you for filling it in.
Yeah.
An old friend. It's Fang's best friend.
I just remember looking at that man like, that looks familiar. and being like, "Uh-oh, that looks familiar." We see some like the ground starts glowing with like a crest, and Riku just says, "No way." And Payne's like, "What is it?" And Riku says, "It's an Aeon."
Yeah,
and we see it, and it's just fucking Bahamut is just right there.
Yeah,
there he is.
So Bahamut has returned, and boy, is he pissed.
Yeah, and Yuna's just like an Aeon, and is just she puts her arms up and she says like, "You must stop." And Payne just immediately runs up to Yuna and says, "You want to get killed? We have no choice." And then we get thrown into a battle with Bahamut
and some sad ass music playing.
The music is like sad piano, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which it is like, as soon as like Yuna realizes that it's one of the Aeons, like her whole vibe shifts right there. She's just like,
yeah,
oh,
of course,
no.
Understandable.
Like she is clearly bummed out with that.
More people she thought was dead. Now she has to
I gotta kill you again.
And it's funny because like I did play this game. I beat FF10 before I ever beat 10 in my life or whatever. So like I feel like I didn't appreciate the weight of this scene. I was like, oh, she's bummed because it's the Aeons and she used to be a summoner, whatever, who care? And now I'm just like, oh, that would be fucking traumatic actually.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like
really,
a really hard
sad
thing to deal with.
The child Aeon too.
Yeah, the description for Bahamut is just an Aeon that once fought alongside Yuna.
Oh, it's good.
And another notable thing that's important about this Bahamut fight is that he is immune to gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Gravity doesn't work on him. Don't try Demi. Also, we did just get our Dark Knight thing. And with this fight, it was like getting a little dicey. So I had Payne and Dark Knight, and I switched Yuna and Riku into the warrior. What's it called? The fighter or whatever.
Yeah, warrior.
Warrior, and I used assault, where just everyone gets haste and they just full force attack over and over and over again. But with Payne, I was on that really cool new dress sphere that we got, the Downtrotter. And I went all the way around it in case I would have to go into like the ultimate form. And I also wanted to get like, one of the things is you can get double HP if you go through like the green crest and the yellow crest or whatever.
Okay.
But if you go through the green one, you also get like gravity imbued on your blade. So every time Payne, Riku, and then Yuna were attacking, it was like Yuna does damage, Riku does damage. They're not really fighters. That wasn't really why I did that. And then Payne does it for 0 damage every time. And I was locked into just the assault mode of just like, I have to just wait until it's over. But luckily it ran its course, and then I went back to like the regular, and I was able to like reset and change things up and squeak out a victory. But I was like, no, I can't believe this backfired.
That's so funny. I was wondering how that was going to backfire when you were talking about it. I was like, how could that possibly go wrong?
Yep. At least he wasn't healing. If he was healing, it would have been like, I probably would have had to start over and fight Baralai again. Actually, no. I think after Baralai, you can go back and save again. I think I did that.
Yeah, you can. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I did notice that Bahamut does still have Mega Flare, and it is way weaker. I was like,
I was so nervous for it, and then it did like less than 200 damage on all of my party. I was like, whew.
When he started counting, I was like, oh no. Like, uh-oh. Because like Dark Knight does a lot of damage, but it's very slow. Like the animation's slow and shit. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get enough damage on him before he uses Mega Flare. And I sure didn't. And so when he casted it, I was like, I can't believe this. I haven't saved in forever. I'm going to have to go back and do all this shit again. And then it does, like 200-300 damage. And I was like, whoo! All right. That's good.
Yeah, so whoever's summoning it is weak.
Yo, weak.
Is that more or less powerful than Donald Duck's Mega Flare?
That's got to be weaker, right?
It's tough.
But yeah, we finally kind of wear him down. I love that we can kind of see when an enemy is like getting weak, when they kind of like slump over.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, we're getting somewhere. I'm not sure what the percentage is when that happens. If it's like last quarter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool fight though.
Yeah, really cool. And just like the emotional heft of it is also like really
yeah, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Now this is games.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good way, like, you know, we're 2 chapters into the game out of 5, and I feel like the stakes have now been raised to a certain point. You know what I mean? A more serious
absolutely.
like, tone here.
Yeah, and poor Yuna just trying to like getting drug into more like world altering shit that she like just wants to like relax and enjoy her retirement where she's not dead. And she's just back in it again. She's like, oh no, the stakes are actually high again. I can't just have fun hunting spheres anymore.
It's kind of like being a millennial.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, she says like as soon as the battle's over, she like drops to her knees and has some inner monologue. She
There's
says
like faith pyre flies going everywhere.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
She says, "Why is this happening? I wish you were here with me." And she says out loud, "Thank you, Pain. You were right. We had to fight it, didn't we?" And then Riku looks over the edge of like the platform that they're standing on, where like, you know, Vegnagun was. And she looks down and it is just a giant hole into the center of the earth, right? Like there's no appreciable bottom that she can see.
Well, I'm confused by this. Like, are we actually below the earth? Or are we, because Bavel is already pretty high off the ground, right?
Yeah.
So is this just like, are we just like still, is it just a big hole in the side of Bavel now? Or if it's actually under Bavel?
I believe they refer to it as under Bavel, but I mean, under Bavel could be above sea level, you know, but either way, from the platform that we're on, she's looking into a hole that she can't see the bottom of, regardless
That's
of
where
where
Thomas is burrowing through more
right.
fallacy nonsense. It is quite large.
And Riku says, "Oh, there's nothing." And Yuna says, "This hole was made recently." Riku goes, "Oh, do you think it was Vegnagun? It's unreal. How deep do you think it goes?"
Yeah, and then
as we're
Leblanc
talking,
shows up, and she just says, "What? Where's Vegnagun?" And Yuna says, "Not here." Leblanc says, "It must have fled in terror, knowing I was coming." And I fucking love that. I love that comment.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, and Riku, without looking at her, just goes, "I don't think so."
I must report to Nuji Wuji at once. Boys, record this. Don't miss a single detail.
Yes, boss.
Notably, again, just a low poly face on Ormy, and he's holding a sphere camera.
Sphere quarter.
He's holding like a personal camcorder. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. I guess like I think he like it sounded like him and Logos in the spheres that we saw of like the aftermath of like whatever battle. Like I think one of the descriptions said after like the events of the Mihin Operation Mihin or something. But yeah, like I think this is even further evidence that they were there.
Yeah, right. And yeah, so as they're all kind of looking around, and Yuna again in her monologue says, "This isn't how it was supposed to be. The eternal calm, I can feel it crumbling, falling away from beneath our feet." And as she's thinking, the like walkie-talkie, I guess, or whatever, brother chimes in or whatever, and he says, "Yuna, we are in super doo-doo. Get back to the Celsius on the double." And as he says that, the chapter 2 complete screen comes in.
Yeah, chapter 2 complete.
Oh, and like, what a good way to end the chapter too, with like a very like somber moment, and then a real quick like, "Oh, we are so fucked."
Yeah, and then a classic Jar Jar Binks ass line from the Jar Jar Binks of this game.
"Oh, we stepped in the bantha doo-doo."
Yeah, we also get a Fiend Tail bonus, which I have not looked at yet, but I think that's a great place to call it for today, right, guys?
I think so.
Yeah. Between chapters, yeah.
Y'all have anything else you want to say about the scene or anything?
I'm excited how things are escalating now instead of just us kind of bumbling around looking for spheres.
Yeah, right.
And pairing up monkeys.
The only other thing I can say is I kind of want to go through and do a more stripped down playthrough. Like a lot of times when I like want to do a second playthrough, I'm like, I want to do everything this time. I'm like, I kind of want to go through and just like mainline the story and see how difficult it is to fight these bosses and do these things without being super overpowered and just try and get through it as fast as possible. Some sort of speed run.
This is, I mean, I think it looks like a pretty good speed run, personally.
It's a fun one, yeah, especially if you do PS2. PS or PC version apparently is significantly easier because it's creature creator.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I'm sure you use different...
More toys. I guess that's also in a what's international thing as well. I think Creature Creator was in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sure.
I think so, though.
The last mission was also included with. But, yeah...
Oh, we also got a grease bag. which is an accessory that guards against curse. And the reason I bring it up is because I had never heard about that, but apparently the first thing that came up was New Orleans Voodoo Museum, and apparently these are like a talisman or amulet or like a voodoo charm capable of warding off evil and bringing good luck to oneself or bringing misfortune to other, which is interesting that's what Bahamut drops.
Interesting. That is
it's also
neat.
a weird, like that's not a very noticeable name in a Final Fantasy game. And I think it was also an accessory in Crisis Core, if what I'm seeing on the fandom page is correct.
I can believe that.
So pretty interesting. But yeah, that's all I got.
Well, B, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, B, thank you so much. This was a blast, as always.
Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Your frogs, perhaps?
Yeah, my frogs. I got a lot of frogs. I don't know. I'm just playing through Breath of Fire 3 right now, which is an amazing game if you haven't played it. I've heard about it for years, and I definitely see why people love it. I played the first two Breath of Fires leading up to it. I'm just kind of playing through the series right now, and I think
it's a PSP game? Or just PS1 game?
It is PS1. It was on PSP, I guess, in Europe, in Japan. I don't know that we got it stateside. But, yeah. So 1 and 2 are Super Nintendo, but they also had GBA versions. 3 and 4 were PS1.
I love the art on it. Yeah.
Oh, the art is so good. There's so much character to all of the sprite work. And
yeah, I've seen you posting about it on Twitter, and every time you post a sprite from it or like just a character design from it, I'm like, this looks awesome.
A bunch of my Twitch emotes now.
Is it Capcom?
Yep, it's Capcom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
They know how to do sprites.
They sure do.
Dude, when Capcom's cooking, they cooking.
Yeah.
Now, have you played all of the games, or did you start with 3?
I started with 1 and 2 this summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I started 3 like a couple weeks ago. And yeah, it's instant. The soundtrack is good. Everything's good. I'm also starting Unicorn Overlord. I'll be playing that on TikTok and YouTube.
Nice.
I've heard really good things as a tactics fan. And I'm looking forward to seeing how I like it. I think it's going to be hard post Rebirth to like anything. I'm going to go through a Rebirth depression, but like, I don't know. There's so many games coming out right now.
I'm a little overloaded, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I was with Kingdom Hearts when I first played it, because I played it directly off the heels of beating Final Fantasy VIII for the first time, and then beating Final Fantasy VII for the first time. And then I was like, well, I want to play something else. And I jumped in. I was like, well, I missed my friends from those games, and they're in this Kingdom Hearts thing. So let me jump into that. And I was like, I don't know if I like this. I eventually did go back and play it and really did like Kingdom Hearts, but
maybe someday we'll cover those.
Yeah, I feel like we'll have to.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it actually would be fun. That would be a good time.
It would be fun.
Did you play the game before Unicorn Overlord, 13 Sentinels?
No, I'm going to be playing that
it's so good.
Shortly.
It's so good. Yeah, I played that game based on just the fact that it was Vanillaware. I was just like, I just want to see their animations again because their animations always look so good.
I've already seen a lot of the Unicorn Overlord animations, and you can tell that they have a thing that they enjoy to animate, and it's there. So,
yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I do recommend 13 Sentinels, but yeah, you know what? I should check out Unicorn Overlord as well.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else other than that. You know, I'm just here. I'm existing. I always love coming and talking to you guys about things.
Oh, thank you.
We didn't have
we can get you on
a Sid grilling tier list this time, but you know, Sid doesn't really play a large role in this one. I forget how did we rank 10 Sid? Would he grill?
Oh, he's got a grill.
I think we ranked him quite highly.
He'd be grilling in the rain.
Oh, it's his voice. He's got a grill voice, right?
He does have a grill voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He kind of sounds like a character from King of the Hill.
He does. He kind of reminds me of Cotton a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got the grilling voice, and he's also got a face tattoo. Like this man's grilling.
He
definitely
grills and has a story to tell. But yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I want to we do a new every FNFF t-shirts that just say, "Yeah, I grill and got a story to tell."
I'd buy it.
We
All
should
the
get like one of
Sids
those
just in a
super
circle.
specific ones that are like Albed, born in July, who like is an engineer, flies a thing, can grill.
My God.
So you better watch out or whatever at the end.
But yeah, if there's any other FF2 shenanigans you want to talk about, if there's other secret horny mini games, I have not played this yet, so I don't know what else this story contains.
I mean, it's weird. It's just
Not to
this
put it on you
chapter.
right now. Just
No,
saying,
it's
the door is
just-
always open.
The
You're
door
always
is
welcome to
open.
come on.
Okay, that's fine. At the end, I would love to, because there's a lot to unpack with the ending, and
Oh yeah.
I
That'd
think-
be great.
Yeah, I'm down to clown. However, I might need to refresh myself, but I've been saying for so long I would replay this, but when I replay it, I have to 100% it, and it's a real. There are certain things
It's an
that are
undertaking.
real pain in the butt.
You got a gunner gauntlet. You got to do the.
Yeah.
You got to
I-
fight.
PR.
The Thunder Plains. There's
You got to get that guy a wife or something.
I was thinking about it. I was like, when we get to chapter 5 and we're like doing those for episodes, it's going to be like ridiculous because we'll be like, oh, tomorrow, only have to worry about this one area and this other area. But like those two things will take like 10 hours to do,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so
the,
it's like Final Fantasy X Endgame.
Yeah.
fun.
Like I think Jose Temple is one where it's like all you have to do is fight a boss technically, but doing that takes like so many hours. Like
Sounds like
fucking
Final
around.
Fantasy X. Yep.
Yep. But yeah, thank you so much. I don't have anything to plug. You guys have anything?
No, nothing really.
We all just played shows.
Yeah,
Right,
you
we all,
played
I mean.
a show very last minute, right?
Yeah, I had like it was 3 p.m. on Saturday, and my roommate asked me if I wanted to play a show, and I was like, okay, well, what's the music? And then 3 hours later, I learned 7 songs and was on our way to sound check. And I never met this band before in my life, so
That
it was
rocks.
a lot of fun.
That was good. I think that's it. Alex, would you like to keep us away from disturbing Vegnagun?
I would love to. I thought you were for some reason I thought you were gonna like would you like to use your talents to help us unwind?
Oh damn, that would have been so good. Well, it's over now.
Oh yeah, where's my tab here? Thank you all for listening again to our podcast. This is a long one. The guests always make it long because we got a lot to. No, it's okay.
No. It's
B,
our
what
fault.
did you do?
It's just what happens when we run out of like, the same jokes. We got to bring on new people. That's
right, yeah.
Thank you to Rika Matsuda and Takahito Oguchi for the game music. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to wherever you're listening to us. You can find us at every FNFF on Twitter /X/Blue Sky /Instagram /YouTube and hop in our Discord. And Nuji Wooji is such a manly man, don't you think? He can be blunt, but that makes the occasional podcast all the more irresistible.
Thank you so much. Y'all take it easy.
Thanks so much. Thanks, B.
wait. Shout out to that one guy in your Discord who said that I'm a really good guest.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you. On your TikTok comments, right?
Yeah.
We
yeah.
credit this episode entirely to them. Thank you for making this. Thank you for making this happen.